Welcome in. We're gonna get right to it, guys. How we doing? How we doing? Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if everything looks good. Let me know if the stream is lagging at all. How we doing? We have a historic winter storm upon us. This air monitor piece in. How we doing? What should I expect in Richmond, Virginia? Again, guys, I'm gonna try to get to everyone's questions as much as I can. But again, we're talking about 150 plus million people here in the path of this storm this weekend. So it's going to be really hard to just give everybody's forecast, but I'm going to give everyone a good general overview of what to expect here. Okay. So just bear with me. I'm going to go over each and every state and what you can expect and when to expect it. And then we can go from there. Welcome in, everybody. How do I sound? I sound good? Can everybody hear me? How's YouTube doing? Again, if you want to switch over to YouTube, you can go to YouTube, WX Rundown. I'm over there live on a more landscape instead of a horizontal, or uh, yeah, landscape instead of a vertical. There we go. That's what I meant to say. All right, let's get going. All right, so here is I'm gonna turn that off, by the way, too, because we're gonna get so many alerts coming through. But a new extreme cold warning for South Dakota. Yes, there. That's gonna be the big headline for them for a while. So let's pause the Euro model here. We're looking at the latest model run from the European model right here. A new one actually just came through. And as you can see here, anything in the blue, anything you see in blue, so all this right here is going to be snow. Anything in the red or salmon pink is going to be ice. And then anything obviously in green and yellow is going to be rain. Uh, what's Long Island? Is it actually going north? Depends what you mean by north. I mean, it depends on where you are and what it means for you to go north. But yeah, it's going to go to the northeast. Yeah, Southern Illinois should be fine. It shouldn't be too bad. So yeah, so the storm is looking like this, just like this. It's going to start out in Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas. And as it develops here, it's going to start off for ice for many as well. So Northeast Texas is going to start off as ice. Back end of it up in northern Texas as well as Oklahoma is going to be mostly snow at the end. And then as it progresses forward, we're talking about northeast Texas into parts of northern Louisiana, central Arkansas to southern Arkansas as well. Even parts of northern Arkansas are going to get in some of that ice and freezing rain as well. And then as we get into Mississippi, Tennessee, again, it's going to just be treacherous. So let's get into a more detailed view here for you guys. And we'll go over the timing and stuff like that. And we'll talk about how much ice accretion we can expect. All right, so we're looking at Saturday. It's going to start right around Friday night, actually, on the 23rd, as we go to the overnight hours. But it's going to start off like this, like you said. Like I said, the salmon pink colors is going to be the ice. Green is going to be rain. Any blues, dark blues is going to be snow. So it will start, and as it starts right around the Red River, it's going to be all ice and freezing rain. And then anywhere south of that, it's going to start as rain, but it will transition as we get further into the day on Saturday. So central to northern Oklahoma into Kansas is going to be snow. And as it progresses here, any of the purples you see is going to be sleet. So just follow me through here, guys. This is going to be Saturday morning, afternoon. And as it progresses, it's going to stay mostly freezing rain for Texas, and then northern and central Oklahoma into Kansas is going to be mostly all snow. It's going to stay mostly snow and stay away from the ice. But central to southern Oklahoma is going to get on that freezing rain and sleet. And as we progress forward here, that's when everything kind of deepens up and gets real intense. And so we're talking about anywhere from the Dallas Fort Worth area across into Louisiana is going to pick up on those bright pinks and reds, and that's going to be that heavy freezing rain that we're going to see. So we're talking about high totals here for freezing rain anywhere in this bright pink red reddish color. I'll get to the Northeast and Massachusetts here in a little bit. No need to spam the chat. No need to spam the chat. I'm gonna get to everybody. Houston's looking okay for the time being. It shouldn't be too crazy in Houston. It's gonna be probably to the north of you. Um, as it gets into northern Mississippi, Shreveport area, Shreveport looks to get hit pretty hard with some freezing rain. Again, it doesn't matter how hard you or how good you drive in winter weather, snow, sleet. Once ice comes into play, I mean, you really can't control that. Like ice is so hard to deal with. It's the worst precipitation. Then we're talking about central to southern Arkansas, even to the northeastern side of Arkansas is going to get in on that freezing rain there in the pinks. And then as it transitions over into Mississippi, you can see that that rain line really is starting to form. But we still have a big, large area here of freezing rain in western and northern Mississippi into Tennessee. And we're going to get out of this view and we're going to change over to the southern eastern view. And so we're right about right here. And we see that we have a lot of rain kind of dipping in now. That warm air aloft is kind of sliding in and making for a rainy situation, which is a best case scenario probably for you guys here. You know, is don't want this ice. You don't want any of the ice to come through. And this is going to be going into Sunday now. And it now Georgia looks to get out of this with mostly a little bit of freezing rain there on the backside of late Saturday into Sunday. But Georgia will probably be mostly rain going forward out of this. And then we'll talk about the Carolinas and Ohio Valley here in a second. So that's what it looks like right now as far as the south goes for the southeast. So I think Georgia's gonna have the icing event pretty much start on end of Saturday into Sunday, but that's gonna quickly transition back over to rain as of right now from what it looks like. And then it should be mostly rain there. Alabama as well. Alabama's probably gonna make it probably the best out of this because they start as rain and they don't really get any of that freezing precipitation. So Alabama, especially northern Alabama, keep a heads up there. Make sure if you don't have to go out, probably I wouldn't go out if you don't have to, just in case some of that ice does dip down a little bit into your neck of the woods. But you should be fine. Like I said, northern Georgia, a little bit of the icing that happens on Saturday into Sunday, but then it just remains mostly rain from that point on. Buffalo's looking like we're going to get another pounding of snow on the when it's all said and done for the Northeast, including Buffalo. So we're going to get to the Northeast here in a second. Uh, let's get let's get into the Ohio Valley though. Let's talk about a little bit further north because that's where the snow is going to be, and the biggest part of the icing as well for Tennessee. So as we can see here, as we go into Saturday into Sunday, the icing really ramps up here. That's what we were talking about a little bit a while ago about Arkansas and Texas into Louisiana. Well, Tennessee is parts of Western Tennessee as well is going to get in on that as well, and parts of Kentucky. And once that kind of goes off to the east, it's not going to be too much of a bigger threat for Tennessee as much as it's going to be for the Carolinas. And that's because we already have that cold air injecting on the eastern side there on the Carolinas. So again, Western Tennessee to Central Tennessee, you're gonna have to deal with that into Kentucky a little bit for a little while, and then by mid Sunday, it should be already past you, and you should be okay from that point on. If we're gonna talk about Kentucky, though, again, Kentucky is gonna be split in half. It's gonna be snow, sleet, ice for Kentucky. So depends on where you are in Kentucky. But northern parts of Kentucky looking like mostly snow at this time, and then sleet for central, and then icing and rain for the rest as we slide off to the west or to the east. That's going to be it for there. Let's keep moving along here. Let's go to the mid Atlantic. Yeah, let me talk about Missouri here in a second. As we go forward here, now we're talking about the Carolinas. The Carolinas and Virginia look to be hit pretty hard here. So let me back up a little bit. And as you can see in front of this storm, you're going to see all that moisture kind of get frozen when it hits the ground. And that's where all those bright reds and pinks are going to be right there for the Carolinas and Virginia as it moves up to the north and northeast. And so we do expect that the Carolinas and Virginia are going to see a pretty good amount of ice accretion for this before it all changes over to rain. And it looks to me here on this latest run that like South Carolina could get in a more rain at the end of it, which is going to be a good thing. It will help kind of melt away some of that ice. But if you look at North Carolina and into Virginia, it looks to me mostly ice throughout the whole event, which is kind of a crappy situation. We don't want that to see that happen, but we'll have to keep monitoring that and see how that transitions. All right, let's go back over to the Ohio Valley really quick. Let's talk about Missouri a little bit. And if we look at Missouri, it does not seem to get in on a lot of that icing, which is good, but you're going to get on the snow. The snow action is going to be pretty good out there. I'll have to look at the latest numbers, but I know you're probably looking at probably a good 8 to 12 inches at least, but I could be wrong on the latest run. So we're going to talk about that here in a second as well. But that's looking like mostly snow for Missouri at this time. All right, so that's that. And as we get as we get up into the northeast here, let's talk about that. And then we'll talk about how much icing is expected, how much snow is expected. We'll get into all that stuff. Again, there's a lot of people joining right now, and there's a lot of places to cover. This is covering nearly half the US. So I cannot, um, I cannot get to everyone's specific area. So just kind of listen to me when I'm talking about your state and where I'm talking about in your state. So that way you can kind of get an idea of what we're talking about and what we're looking like. Yeah, Christy says, don't forget to fuel up your vehicles. Yeah, if you're going to fuel up your vehicles, lots of safety tips with the vehicles. If your vehicle's outside, and you get a lot of snow, if you are going outside to charge, if you lose power, if you're going to charge your vehicles, make sure your tailpipe is uncovered and unobstructed from any snow or ice or anything like that, because you want to make sure that it exhausts correctly and you don't get yourself into a bad situation with carbon monoxide poisoning. If it's in your garage, make sure you have a garage door open, plenty of ventilation. If you're using your vehicle in your garage, you don't want to have to keep all those doors shut. You don't want to be silently killing yourselves here, okay? All right, on to the Northeast. And now we have this big blockbuster of a snow event that's just going to come and really just drop a bunch of snow here for Pennsylvania, New York, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. It's riding the coast here just enough where it's gonna drop. It's gonna be dropping, pretty much dropping closer to the coastline, besides some areas here over in western Pennsylvania and up towards Buffalo and stuff like that, and the Great Lakes. And that I think you're gonna get a few enhanced bands out that way as well. That's gonna obviously, of course, bring up snow totals. So that's how this progresses up to the north, and this is gonna be transitioning from Sunday into Monday for the Northeast here for this part of the storm as we get through. So that's what it's looking like. The Carolinas again are going to be mostly ice, and then with a transition to rain at the end. Virginia looks to be mostly ice with some rain transitioning into it. But again, when I say ice, this is going to be freezing rain. So basically, what does that mean? It means it probably will look like rain coming down, but freezing rain freezes on contact. So actually, good time to talk about it. So let's bring this little graphic into display here, okay? So here's our little graphic to talk about. And this is the precipitation graphic. If you didn't know, all precipitation through all year long, any storms that develop, they always start as snow. Why? You look 20, 30,000 feet up in the air, it's cold, always cold enough for snow. So everything starts as snow. And then in the summertime, because the air is warm aloft and at the ground, everything just stays as rain. But as you start injecting some of that warm air at the mid levels, you get a little bit of warm air in there. So it starts as snow, a little bit of warm air. But then if it's cold again, it goes back into transitions back into sleet or snow. So that's kind of how that works. But then you add a little bit more warm air in there. And then what happens is it starts as snow, adds warm air, it gets to the warm air, melts again, stays melted, but then at the ground level, if it's cold enough or below freezing, everything freezes on contact, and that's where you get that ice accretion or freezing rain happens. So again, it might look like it's raining outside. That does not mean that it's just raining outside. Everything is probably going to be freezing in those areas where those pinks are, and it's going to be freezing on contact. You'll see icing start to really accumulate, and then anything if it's just warm air from the mid levels down to the ground, then it's just rain. So that's kind of how the precipitation types work. But all precipitation starts as snow because it's just so cold high up in the atmosphere. Thank you for the follow, Terry. I've heard so many different things, specifically from Memphis, Tennessee. I'm so confused. Yeah, well, the thing about it is, anyone that's watching right now, you need to understand that the weather forecasting is very fluid. It's always changing. New models are always coming out. New runs are always coming out. New data is always being added. So the closer you get to a storm system, the more likely, the more solid the forecast becomes, because we just know more as it gets closer to an event. So that's why everyone's kind of all over the place. And then you got people that hype it up and stuff like that. Again, I like to be kind of like, prepare yourselves and here you go. Here's all the information we have, but also not to overly hype it where people are scared. My goal is not to scare people or tell you to go run and, grab everything out of the grocery store and you're going to be without power for weeks. That's not my goal here. It's just to give you all the facts that we have right now in the moment and then go from there. Mike, thanks for the follow. Appreciate that. Uh, Aisha, thanks for sharing the live. St. Louis, Missouri looks to remain, at least for the Euro model, Missouri looks to remain mostly snow at this point. So let's talk about snow while we're talking about what to expect. And then we'll get into some other stuff and just talk about stuff in general. Here's the Rufus model. This is a more high definition model. And if we take a look at this kind of gives us a better look. So most models are taken from a 5 to 15 kilometer kind of area. So it's much more widespread that the model data takes into consideration and doesn't actually give it more detail. So this is a Rufus model, 1 kilometer above ground level. So again, this is a high definition model. And again, we're seeing the same signal here with that northeastern Texas into Louisiana, most of Arkansas, especially central and southern Arkansas, into Mississippi and Tennessee. And this one really explodes. This one has like, the Rufus actually shows like this first system come through, and then it has like it exploding again into one whole cohesive system. So we'll have to watch that as that plans out. But one thing that is consistent with this is that the Carolinas get icing before, and a lot more sleet too in this one, in the purple. But what it said, what it's showing here on the Rufus is that Carolinas get ice, and Virginia gets in some ice and sleet as well. But then it transitions over, and the Carolinas get out of that icing, and it just stays in Virginia and up and towards Maryland and Delaware. So um, we'll have to keep watching how this plays out. But still, regardless of wherever it happens, again, it's so hard to tell where the warm air is going to inject itself and where that freezing rain, where that freezing line is going to be. That's why this is so difficult. That's why so many people are talking about 2 inches of ice, 1 inch of ice. No, we're not going to get ice. We're just going to get rain. There's so much to put in play here that it's just so hard to really accurately forecast it. One thing we do know is we have a new extreme cold warning for Michigan. uh, but one thing we do know is that whether it be the Rufus model, the European model, the American GFS model, a few other models, what we do know is that all of them are saying that this is going to happen and we're going to have a major icing event regardless in some portion here in the Southeast. What is driving the storm more north? Yeah, so we're gonna have this low, that upper level low that comes through, and it's gonna just keep pushing it right to the northeast. So the stronger that becomes, the more it's gonna help push it to the northeast and kind of push. And the more north it gets pushed, that means it pushes the warm air in there as well. So there's less of an icing that will happen. So it just really depends on how much warm air aloft gets pushed up, and that's what's so hard to tell. But we do know we're gonna have big snow, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, Northeast, New England, Connecticut, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Maine. We're all looking for a big snow out that way. But let's talk about snow for the South as well. So let's first do the freezing rain. We'll talk about freezing rain. We have a new freezing rain QPF quantitative precipitation forecast. What am I doing here? So here is the freezing rain forecast. This is the latest 12Z Euro run of it. And again, not much has really changed here. Okay. So again, what we're seeing here is again, Northeast Texas into parts of Louisiana, most of central to southern Arkansas over to Mississippi, Tennessee, and then again the Carolinas to Virginia, all looking like you're going to get heavy amounts of ice accretion that's going to set up here. So again, this has been pretty consistent. This has been pretty consistent over the last 24 hours. So when we start seeing that consistency, it means that everything's kind of in alignment. That this is most likely what's going to happen. If we go over to the latest 13Z run of the national blend of models, this is what the National Weather Service takes all the models that it has and takes them all into consideration and then puts out an average. And so if we look at the total ice fram, this basically lines exactly up with what the freeze and rain QPF is, which it's saying that this is where most of the ice is going to set up. So, we're looking at anywhere from, you know, the lighter pinks here is going to be, a quarter of inch of ice to these darker purples and pinks here. We're talking about over a half of an inch of ice, which is just going to be devastating if a half of an inch of ice falls upwards to three-quarters of an inch. So if that ends up accumulating to that much, we're gonna have big issues here, especially for Arkansas, Mississippi, and Louisiana, and parts of Texas, and into Tennessee, and then over in the Carolinas and Virginia as well. That they're not out of it either. They're looking at probably a quarter to a half an inch of ice accretion as well. So lots of stuff at play here, but this is what it's looking like. Let's look at the latest 12Z run of the Euro for snowfall. We're looking at the Kuchera ratio right now because the 10-to-1 is we're thinking it's going to be about a 20-to-1 to 15-to-1 ratio right now. So for every inch of rain, we're thinking 20 inches of snow because it's going to be light, fluffy snow. So if we put this in fast forward here, and this is the storm as it comes through, and we fast forward this into about Wednesday, we're looking at, over into Oklahoma. Again, this is going to be aggressive. So we're going to take a look at the blend of models here in a second. Keegan, thank you for sharing the live. Ohio's going to get in on. I'm talking about snow right now. Ohio's going to be mostly snow. So listen up for Ohio. If you're wondering about Ohio, we're going to talk about snow here in a second for Ohio. Susan, thank you for the follow. Appreciate you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you, Jess. David, thank you guys for all the gifts as well. So looking at the Kuchera for the European model 12Z run here, it's a little aggressive, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. It's a little overperforming as far as what I think will happen. And so that's my opinion. Again, I could be totally right. I could be totally wrong. But right now we're looking at anywhere in Oklahoma. Here, let's get a little bit closer review here for you guys. So let's go one by one here. So if we look at the Kuchera model here, ratio for the European model, we're looking at, Oklahoma's looking at anywhere from 10 to, upwards to 20 inches of snow. Is that going to happen? Probably not. Okay. But that's what it's saying right now for this European model. So we're going to look at the blend of models here in a second. But just so everyone kind of gets an idea, let's go over a little bit further. Let's go to the southeast. What's the snow looking like over there? Again, this is going to be mostly in that freezing rain to rain corridor. So you're not really seeing much. Upwards, upper northern Arkansas, though, I would say probably 6 to 10 inches. Probably might be a good bet for you guys out that way. So let's look Ohio Valley a little bit. And again, this is going to be overdoing it a little bit, but we're looking at parts of Tennessee maybe getting in on 2 to 5 inches. Again, Arkansas is going to get on 5 to, this one has levels up here in northwestern Arkansas upwards to a foot of snow. I don't think that's going to be that much falling there, but you never know. But we'll look at the blended models. The National Weather Service blended models is more reserved. Like I said, it takes everyone into consideration and kind of averages everything out, and that's usually more reliable. So yeah, Arkansas looking at maybe 3 inches to 12 inches, from central to northern Arkansas. Missouri, again, looking at anywhere from 6 inches to upwards to 17 inches. Again, probably overdoing it there. And as we go over into Kentucky, again, we're looking at, 3 inches 3 to 5 inches probably for the southern parts of Kentucky. If the ice doesn't really, some of that cold air kind of gets pushed down a little bit more, then we might be able to get a little bit more snow on that side. But if the ice sets up on the southern edge of Kentucky, it's not going to be as much snow there. But for central and northern Kentucky, you could looking at like 8 to 18 inches of snow. Again, northern Kentucky going to be in the higher elevations there. Illinois and Ohio, again, we're looking at for the central and southern parts of the state here as well. Looking at a foot or snow, foot to 18 inches here for Ohio and Illinois and Indiana. So it really just depends. So I really want to look at the National Weather Service blend of models here in a second because that's really what's going to tell us more. So we'll look at that here in a second. Let's look over here in the Mid Atlantic. And again, this is probably overdoing it. Let's not go out too far. But yeah, if we look over here, and we're going to be looking at Ohio again, we're looking at, anywhere from a foot to 18 inches. In Virginia, Northern Virginia stands to see the probably the best chance for seeing snow. Anywhere from 6 to 12 inches is probably going to be in that range. But again, we're going to look at the National Weather Service blended models here in a second. We're looking at now we start getting into the big snowmaker states here, and that's going to be Pennsylvania. This part of Pennsylvania on this right here looks to be anywhere from on the very low end a foot to like almost 2 feet of snow for Pennsylvania. And then if we get into the Northeast, this is where the big jackpot is. And again, this is probably not going to happen like this. But look at Pennsylvania, New York here. New York, we're talking about the low numbers in New York being like 15 inches to upwards to 30 inches by the Great Lakes and Buffalo. So we'll have to see how this pans out. But much of the Northeast here, looking at least over a foot of snow. And so let's do what I've been talking about, and let's get to the National Weather Service blend of models because this is what I like to go by because this is and we have a new run of it too. So this is going to be good to see. So if we go to total snowfall for this, oh, it's just coming out, so we can't look at it yet. So there's going to be a new run of the blend of models here for the National Weather Service snowfall. But here's what it currently was looking like, and as you can see, it's much more reserved. So let's go back through. Let's talk about everyone's area as we go back through. So let me go back through region to region here, okay, guys? Let's look at it one by one. And remember what I was saying, the National Weather Service blend of models takes all the models into consideration, averages them all out, and says, this is what's most likely to happen. How's it going, Noodles? How's it going, Danielle? Um, yeah, so we're looking at uh, northern Texas here, anywhere from probably 2 inches to 6 inches is probably going to be, especially in the panhandle here. Going to be probably 5 to 8 inches is probably likely in that area of Texas. And then as we cross over into Oklahoma, we're probably looking at anywhere from 5 to 12 inches for the whole state. The more south you go, the more that freezing rain kicks in and less snow. But upwards to northern Oklahoma here, we're looking at probably a foot of snow is likely here. So a big time snowmaker for you guys. Let me go to our friends over here in Kansas so that way we can see up in Kansas as well. Nebraska. Nebraska doesn't look to be too much, but Kansas looks to be about anywhere from the western side of the state, 5 inches to upwards to a foot of snow as well is expected in Kansas. Same thing for Missouri. If we're looking at Missouri, we're looking at anywhere from probably 6 to 12 inches as well for the whole state of Missouri. New snow squall warning for Vermont just issued. Okay, so that's Kansas. Let's get to the Ohio Valley for snowfall. Again, guys, I'm trying to give you guys as much information as possible because there's just way too many people. I cannot give you guys accurate forecast down to your city and town. It's just there's too many people, and I just want to be able to broadly go over everything. So just keep an ear out for your state that I'm talking about and your area, and that will be again, this is always a fluid changing situation, but here is the latest numbers and what I have for you. Liz, thank you for the follow. Johnny, I see you saying mass. Give me a second. Okay, I'm getting over there. Any possibility this shifts south between now and the weekend and Alabama does see something? Right now, Alabama, like I was just talking about a little while ago, Alabama is looking to be probably the winner here if you don't want any type of winter weather precipitation. It looks to be mostly rain with maybe a little bit of icing mixing in at the very northern part of Alabama, but it looks to be that it's going to be mostly rain for you in Georgia. Georgia, maybe north side of Georgia might be in on a little bit of ice. But yeah, it could definitely shift south a little bit, but at this rate, the trends have been shifting more and more north a little bit. So I wouldn't expect it to shift too much further south by any means. Um, let's back this up a little bit. So yeah, so Tennessee, again, it just depends on where this freezing line again, if this freezing line keeps going north a little bit, then we're gonna see less snow in Tennessee and more snow the further north you go. So if we look at Tennessee, we're looking at maybe 1 inch to 5 inches, and especially over here in the western and northern parts of Tennessee, that's really where you're going to stand to see the most snow. You might see a little bit of snow mixing in here in northern parts of Tennessee, but again, it's going to be I wouldn't see it too likely that you're going to see too much from it. But yeah, again, a general 1 to 3 with maybe a little bit higher up here in northwestern Tennessee, maybe 3 to 6. And then as we go into Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio and Kentucky, we'll go with Kentucky first, probably looking at 4 to 12 inches of snow. Again, that's being very loose with the terms here. I would say anywhere from central to northern Kentucky is going to be more in that 8 to 12 inch range, especially in those dark reds right here for the north central part of Kentucky. Um, and then if we're going to talk about Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. Again, Illinois looks to be mostly in that 6 to 12 range. Again, the further north you go for Illinois, the less you're going to get. But anywhere from central to southern Illinois, you're probably looking at that 6 to 12 range for Illinois. If you're looking at Indiana, again, Indiana is looking right now right now to be about 7 to 13 inches, 12 inches, if you want to round it off. The more north you go, the less you're expected to get. The southern part of the state seems to be the big jackpot here, with over a foot of snow expected for Indiana. And then if we look over here at Ohio, again, Ohio's looking at a good 6 to 12 as well. Again, central to southern parts of the state are looking at more of that 8 to 12 inch range for Ohio. All right, if we look over into West Virginia looks to be a good 6 to 10 inches for West Virginia. So I would expect that, maybe a little bit of mixing and icing and sleet towards the southern part of Virginia or West Virginia, for that matter. Uh, no, did not want to go there. Let's go to the Mid Atlantic. And again, we're going to fast forward this into Wednesday, so that way the storm has already passed and we can see what it's looking like. Again, West Virginia, we're looking at probably that 6 to 10 inch range, with the southern part of it mixing in, having some sleet and icing happen in the very southern part of West Virginia. Virginia, again, it's calling for big numbers here in Northern Virginia. The last Euro run we were just looking at shows a lot of icing happening and less snow. So we'll have to see if this northern part of Virginia actually gets in on this big time snow. But it's calling for big time snow across a few different of the blended models here. So let's just go with that, and kind of give you guys a heads up here for Northern Virginia. For the Southern Virginia, 3 inches to 5 inches is probably going to be, I would say, maybe even overdoing it a little bit, because I just think there's going to be so much icing that happens. Um, and then the middle of the state, probably looking at 8 to 12, 8 to 15 inches if this snow band set up here. Again, if you start seeing snow flying in Virginia on, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, uh, what's the timing? Yeah, so Sunday into Monday. If you start seeing those snow bands start to set up and you're starting to see snow just come down heavy, you're probably going to be in on that 12 to 18 range for Northern Virginia, Central Virginia. But back over to the southern parts of the state and to the western parts of the state, yeah, I would say a good 3 to 8 inches is probably going to be the safe bet there, as long as that ice doesn't really take over. But that icing was really showing up strong there for you guys. So we'll have to see about you guys over there. Pennsylvania, again, Pennsylvania is just looking like just pretty much guaranteed almost over a foot here for Pennsylvania. Again, this is the National Weather Service blend of models, so it's the averages. So it's not even the high ends and it's not in the low ends. It kind of averages everything out. So we're looking at anywhere from 12 inches to 20 plus inches here for Pennsylvania for the whole state. Uh, I would say probably central to eastern parts of the state are more likely than the western side of Pennsylvania. Uh, uh, I wouldn't say ice in the Atlanta area. I think Atlanta's gonna. I would say the northern part of Georgia is gonna get in on a little bit of icing before it switches all over to rain. But once you switch all over to rain, it's gonna be rain for the rest of the duration of the event. It's gonna start as icing and then switch all the way over. North Carolina as well. Before I forget you guys over here, in North Carolina, you could see upwards to 1 to 3 inches as well, especially in the northern and northwestern side of the state. So expect that, but we're expecting a lot of ice accretion as well for northern and North Carolina, South Carolina. But just be known that you can get a few inches of snow as well. Let's get into the Northeast now. This is where the big jackpot is, like I've been talking about. Again, this is the reserved model. This is where the low ends and the high ends come together to balance everything out. And as you can see here, even with the balancing out of blend of models, we're still looking across the whole region here, anywhere from 12 inches upwards to 25 inches on. Looking like Boston's going to get clobbered with 2 feet of snow. So we'll see if that happens. But let's go state by state. Again, Pennsylvania, we're looking at 12 to 20 inches for the whole state. Again, anywhere from central to eastern parts of the state, you're probably looking in more of that higher totals of 1.5 feet to almost 2 feet of snow for central eastern Pennsylvania. If we're looking at New York, we're looking at 12 to 20 inches as well. The far northern part, upstate New York, not as much. But if we look over here by Buffalo and stuff like that. And again, we're looking at a general 12 to 20 inches, I would say, for the whole state, besides upstate New York, far upstate New York, though. Anywhere up there, you're probably looking at 6 to 10. If we go over to Maryland, Delaware, you guys are also looking to get clobbered on here, probably 14 to 22 inches as well in that area, because you're going to be right along the coastline, which is going to really impact you pretty good. And then if we look over to Connecticut, Rhode Island, again, you guys are going to be probably in that 15 to 22 inch range, I believe is where you're going to be kind of sitting at. Same thing over Rhode Island. And again, Western Mass, all the way over to Boston and down to the Cape, you guys are looking at, anywhere from 15 to 22 inches of snow. I would not be surprised to see 24, 25, 26 inches there, especially along the coastline. It depends on how deep this low deepens as it passes by and how heavy the snow band set up. If we're looking into Vermont, we're looking at good 20 inches for southern Vermont, and the further north we go, the less you're going to get. So, and there's a pretty steep cutoff here. So 12 to 20 inches for Vermont, far northern parts, probably looking at the 6 to 10 inch range. Same thing with New Hampshire, 6 to 10 inches for the very northern parts of New Hampshire. And then anywhere from central to southern New Hampshire is going to be probably in that 12 to 20 mark as well. And then if we look at southern to western Maine, again, we're going to be looking at 12 to 20 inches as well for western and southern Maine. Down to the mid coast of Maine is more looking like probably 12 to 15 inches. And if we're talking about anywhere from central to down east Maine, you're going to be looking at 6 to 12 inches as well. And then anywhere up into Aroostook County, up into far northern Aroostook County, you're going to be looking at that 4 to 8 inch mark as well. So we're looking at a very bright pink area here where the big blockbuster of the snow is going to be. Um, so that is that, guys. And then let's talk about wind chills as well, guys. You guys, the wind chills are going to be off the charts here. So if we want to talk about wind chills, you see these bright like greens and blues here. These are wind chill values of -30 to -50 degrees. Okay. So this weekend's also going to get very, very cold for the high plains, and it's going to dip down. We're talking about parts of Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, getting down to the -5, -20 marks. Okay. So we have to make sure that this could be setting up to be a very dangerous situation, especially if you lose power this weekend. You're talking about losing power plus having very, very frigid cold temperatures in the upwards to -20 to -40 degrees in some places. Um, so we have to definitely make sure we have supplies on hand, make sure we have fuel for a generator. Again, make sure you're exhausting any type of generator you have. Do not use any type of gas powered devices or grills inside your house that run off of gas. We want to make sure that we're not getting carbon monoxide poisoning and silently killing each other. Okay, so we gotta keep an eye on this. Okay, this is gonna start here tomorrow, and the planes are going to be upwards to -20, -40 wind chill. And as they dip down on the 25th, 26th, they really are going to wreak havoc here. Right there, that's on Monday. So that's going to Sunday into Monday. This could be worst case scenario, guys. If people down here lose power, it's going to be a big problem. Talk about parts in Kentucky here, -10 to -20 degrees wind chill. Parts of Indiana, -20 to -30. Again, Ohio, -10 to -20. So all this area here really needs to take this seriously in case they lose power, because it's going to be very, very cold. And that's going to jet off to the northeast as well on Tuesday and Wednesday into Thursday. So lots of cold weather here, guys. Lots of Arctic air dipping down with the high pressure. And so we just need to, just keep monitoring weather. Make sure you have your supplies. Make sure you have plenty of food and blankets and stuff like that. If you guys do lose power, here, let's talk about this really quick. Yeah, Connecticut's probably going to get 12 to 20 inches. Let's talk about this really quick, guys, because it might be really pivotal and helpful to you guys in case you didn't know. So if you are in an area where you might lose power from ice storm or from the ice storm or from snow or whatever, and you lose power, it might be for an extended period of time, depending on how much outages happen. You really should try to seclude yourself to one room. Make sure you have blankets and stuff like that, plenty of blankets and stuff like that. But if you lose power, don't keep your family spread out throughout your house. Okay, you try to seclude yourself to one room so that way everyone can be in one room together, huddled together for heat and warmth. Make sure you have your candles in that room. Make sure that, again, you have plenty of ventilation in case you have anything going in there for heat. But don't light any type of gas grills inside your house. If you need to go to your vehicle, if it's outside, make sure the tailpipe's uncovered. If it's covered in, if you had a lot of snow, make sure your tailpipe is uncovered so that way it doesn't back up carbon monoxide and poison you. If you're in a garage, I know it might be obvious, but if you're in a garage, make sure you open up your garage doors if you're going to run your vehicle. Again, we're trying to avoid carbon monoxide poisoning. Same thing with grills. Do not run your grills inside your house. Electric's fine, but any type of gas grills like that, you don't want to be letting off all that carbon monoxide into your home where your loved ones are. Tennessee is going to probably be looking like a mixture of icing with a little bit of snow and then rain at the very end of it. So Tennessee is going to look like maybe a few inches of snow for most, a few inches of snow for Tennessee, and then it's going to kind of it's going to be a mess. I'm just going to put it quite frankly. Right where you see this 2 to 5 inch range right here for Tennessee is also where we stand to have the most icing happen. So again, just depends on where the icing sets up and whatnot. Thank you guys for all the hearts, all the gifts. Kim, thank you for the roses. Kim, thank you for the heart puff. Jess, thank you. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for all the support. Make sure you hit that follow button, guys. I'm going to be live all weekend covering this. Okay. So I'll be live. I'll have traffic cameras in the area. We're going to be live Saturday afternoon and all day Sunday. Okay. Even parts of Monday, perhaps as well. So definitely hit that follow button above. If you want to watch on YouTube, it's a more landscape version. You can go over there, WX Rundown. We have people over there as well. -7 wind chill in Colorado Springs, not too bad. uh, Georgia's going to be fine for the most part. I think you're going to have a little bit of icing at the very beginning of the event, and then it's going to transition all to rain. So I think you're going to be okay for that as far as we know now. Again, we still have a little bit of ways out. We're still about 30 hours or so out from this. So it's a little ways out. We're going to get a few more model runs that will take place, and we'll be able to figure things out a little bit more. Let's go back out to national view for the national weather. Actually, this is the Euro. Let's go back up to the national view. This is going to be the expected snowfall again. Northeast here from Pennsylvania up to New York, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and New England, Massachusetts, and Vermont, New Hampshire, and southern Maine. You guys seem to be the ones that are going to get the big jackpot of snow here. But does not mean that parts of the Midwest back here and into central US is not going to get hit as well. We're talking about, a good 3 to 5 inches in Nebraska, a good 3 to 5 inches, most likely for eastern parts of Colorado and the Rockies. Obviously, the Rockies will get more. And then back into northern parts of the panhandle of Texas, you're looking at 3 to 8 inches. And then parts of Oklahoma, you and Kansas, you guys are looking probably at a good, 5 to 10 inches, 5 to 12 inches, depending. But Oklahoma, Nebraska, Oklahoma and Kansas probably a good 5 to 12 inches. Parts of northern parts of Arkansas, again, you're probably going to be looking at 6 to 12 inches. Missouri looks to be all snow here. The far northern parts of Missouri are going to get hit a little bit less, but yeah, again, 6 to 12 inches for Missouri. Illinois, you're probably going to be looking at more of like the 5 to 10 inch range. Parts of Kentucky, central and northern parts of Kentucky are probably going to be more heavily hit. Right now, we're looking at maybe a good 8 to 12 inches for parts of northern Kentucky and southern Indiana. Southern Indiana. Sorry, lots of talking, lots of words. Trying to keep it all together here for you guys. Northern parts of Indiana, though, probably looking at a good 6 to 10 inches. Same thing with Ohio. Northern parts of Ohio is probably going to be on that 8 to 12 inch range, while the southern part of Ohio is probably going to be in on that 10 to 14 inch range. Again, just calling out loose numbers here just to give you guys a good idea. Um, Central and northern parts of Tennessee, again, is going to be in that 1 to 3 inch range. Nothing too crazy expected there. It could get up to 5 inches, but I don't see that likely with all the ice accretion that's supposed to happen there. Again, another 1 to 3 inches for North Carolina. South Carolina looks to be mostly all icing and rain. Northern parts of North Carolina, though, 1 to 3 inches. Virginia, southern parts of Virginia, 1 to 3 inches. Central to northern Virginia is when you're really looking at like that 6 to 14, 15 inch range, the far northern parts of Virginia up into the DC area as well. That's really where the hard cutoff goes for snow. And once we start getting into these deep reds right here, is really when we get into that 10 to 20 inch range. So we're talking about parts of Maryland, DC, into almost all of Pennsylvania, all of New York, all of Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and then southern parts of New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine are all going to get in on that probably 15 to 24 inch range. But I can guarantee you everyone here is probably going to get at least a foot of snow, if not more. It's kind of a given at this point. Everything's kind of in agreement. This is the National Weather Service blend of models. So it's very reserved. Okay. It's taking everything into consideration and kind of giving you an average. So if we look over here at the Euro model right now, it says that, Buffalo is going to get 42 inches of snow. So again, like it's a very reserved, it takes everything into consideration. Long Island, New York, it has weird weather. Can you check? Yeah, Long Island is it's gonna be in that it's gonna be in that 12 to 20 range. If I want to give you a nice big hold on one second, guys. Yeah, that's fine. All right. Yeah, Long Island's going to be in that 12 to 20 range. I think that's a good safe number. Again, I don't see how you guys get out of it without a foot of snow. That low pressure is going to be so deep by the time it passes over you guys, just to your southeast, that it's almost a given at this point that at least a foot of snow is going to probably fall there. And then again, we're talking about the more east you go in Massachusetts, the more likely I think we're going to have a blockbuster 2+ feet of snow, especially around Boston and down to the Cape. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Again, we're still 24 to 30 hours or so out from it even starting over in Texas. So once all that starts playing out over there is when we're going to kind of get closer and closer. And then our high definition models are going to kind of be more in play, and we'll be able to have a better view and idea of how this thing is going to perform as it transitions over to the Northeast. Philadelphia, yeah, Philadelphia, you're going to be, I would say 15 to 20 inches probably for Philly. Um, there's not even any values that go below 18 inches until you get to far western over in Pittsburgh areas where it drops below 15 inches. So Pittsburgh, yeah, talking about Pittsburgh, yeah, Pittsburgh, we're talking, I think a safe range for Pittsburgh is going to be 8 to 15 inches. So It just really depends. Syracuse, yeah, Syracuse. I think you're going to be in that 12 to 20 mark as well. Far northern parts of upstate New York is probably going to be in that more 6 to 12 inch range. But anywhere from central to southern New York, it's going to all be in that like 15 to 20 plus inches. I'll have snow maps that I'm gonna also do. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do the whole whole country. I guess I could probably do a very broad map for the country. I usually just do New England where I'm located in for snow maps, but I can probably do out here to Kansas and Oklahoma as well. So yeah, definitely let me know if you guys would like to see that. New Jersey's going to get in on it. Jersey's going to get in on, I would say for Jersey, 15 to 20 inches is easily probably expected with this. Again, if we want to play a little bit safer, I think 12 to 15 inches is almost guaranteed at this point. Again, this is the National Weather Service blend of models, so it takes everything into consideration. It averages everything out, and this is what we can kind of expect from a like a low end type of standpoint. And if we look over here to the euro, like I was saying, let's back this up a little bit. It's a little too far out. If we look at the euro, again, it's not it's usually overdoing it a little bit. It overdoes it in places, but other places it doesn't. So like parts of Jersey here, it says like 16, and then other parts of Jersey says like 18. So is this the latest? Yeah, it's the latest. Let's look at the latest run for the National Weather Service blended models though, because the latest snow maps are going to be out for, yeah, here we go. So now we get the latest run for the National Weather Service blended models for total snowfall. So let's see what it's saying now. So if we look over here, so let's go one by one. Let's look at it one by one. So this is the latest run for the National Weather Service blend of models for total snowfall. And if we look, we're looking at, a good 1 to 3 inches for New York, or not New York, northern Texas. And then the panhandle, again, probably 6 to 10 inches is expected. So nothing's really as much as changed there. If we look to central US, Oklahoma and Kansas, Nebraska, again, southern parts of Oklahoma is probably going to be in that 3 to 5 range. But then when you get to upwards to near Norman and northern Oklahoma into Kansas, I would say a good 6 to 12 inches is probably still on the table there for most of Oklahoma and Kansas. Far northwestern sides of Kansas is probably going to be in that 3 to 6 range. And then Nebraska is going to be in that 2 to 5 range for most of Nebraska. Same thing with Iowa, central to southern parts of Iowa, probably 2 to 5 inches. Thank you guys for joining. Ryan, thank you for the heart. Byron, thank you for the heart, the rose. I'll get to everyone. I'm going again. There's a lot of people tuning in, and a lot of people want to know their specific locations. There's just so many states here to cover. I cannot go through every single state's exact location. So just think about where I'm talking about. Think about where I'm showing you each state by state. I'm going one by one. So just think about your state, think about where you're located, and just kind of take it as a broad forecast for you. Yeah, because again, it's going to be this is such a huge system that it's going to be. Don't worry, you're going to get in on what it's forecasted for. Arkansas. Again, this is not much has really changed in this new run, which is again, it means that things are kind of aligning here, and then guidance is kind of, you know, coming together. So central parts of Arkansas to southern parts of Arkansas, probably 2 to 5 inches, and then northern parts of Arkansas from central Arkansas to northern Arkansas, a good 5 to 12 inches is expected. Again, the further north you go, the more snow you're going to get. The more south you go, the more icing and then rain you're going to get and sleet. Missouri, again, still looks to be all snow. So Missouri, again, you're going to be looking at a good 6 to 12 inches for Missouri, with the most of it being from far northern Missouri. It looks to be on the 3 to 5 inch range, whereas central to southern Missouri is more likely for that 6 to 12 inch range. Southeast US, let's see if anything's kind of changed down here. It does not look like much has changed. Again, you guys are going to remain mostly icing, which is probably the worst part of this whole thing. So far northern parts of Louisiana and Mississippi is going to get in on that icing, but you could get a few inches of snow as well that mixes in there, but nothing too much is expected from the snow accumulation there. If we look at the Ohio Valley, Again, Missouri looks to be all snow. Far northern parts of Arkansas is going to be also all snow, where southern parts are going to be mostly ice and sleet. If you look over at Tennessee here, Tennessee, again, we're gonna have a very strong line here that's gonna be the freezing line. And again, I believe that western and northern parts of Tennessee are gonna be in on most of the icing. But again, you can look at that 2 to 6 inch range for western and northern parts of Tennessee, or northwestern parts of Tennessee, to get on that 2 to 6 range of snow. And then the further central and eastern Tennessee you get, the less snow is likely, and it's more likely just to be icing that changes over to rain. Okay. If we look at Kentucky now, Kentucky actually has shifted a little bit, where snow is kind of injecting a little bit further to the south a little bit, if I do recall. So most of Kentucky looks to be getting some sort of precipitable snow accumulation. So we're looking at anywhere from probably 3 inches from far south eastern parts of Kentucky, all the way upwards to northern Kentucky, upwards to a foot of snow. So again, if you're in central to northern Kentucky, you're looking at probably 6 to 12 inches. Anywhere in central Kentucky down to the southern Kentucky, I would say probably 2 to 6 inches is more likely. Um, uh, but let me reframe that a little bit. Far southern parts of Kentucky is probably going to be on that 2 to 6 inch range. Central Kentucky upwards to northern Kentucky is going to be probably on that like 8 to 12 inch range. Especially in this dark red right here, you're looking at probably a foot of snow or more. And then anywhere in this dark pink right here is going to be that 8 to 12 range. If we look at Illinois, again, central Illinois to southern Illinois is going to be in on that 6 to 12 range. Anywhere from central to northern Illinois is going to be in on that 2 to 5, 2 to 6 range for snow. Indiana, we're looking at 6 to 8 inches or so from northern to central Indiana. And then central Indiana, we're looking at probably 8 to 12 inches to southern Indiana. If we look over here at Ohio, again, Ohio looks to see about 6 to 12 inches across the whole state. So I would say 6 to 12, with the southern part of the state, southwestern part of the state, probably being the place that's going to see the most snow, probably a foot or so more. And then West Virginia is, again, I think that's going to be a good 6 to 12, with the lower amounts being on the southern part of the state, because that's going to be where that icing is going to set up in sleet. But the northeastern side of West Virginia is going to set up to stand to get the greatest amount, probably in that 8 to 12 inch range. Let's see. Let's go over to the Carolinas and the Mid Atlantic. Again, and guys, I know I'm talking a lot, probably not seeing a lot of your messages right now. I'm just trying to get through everyone's areas that I can, to give you guys a big, broad overview of how much you guys can expect for all your states. Juliana, thank you for those roses. Lavita, thank you for the rose as well. Kim, thank you for the heart puff. Raya, again, thank you. Thank you guys. Again, I'm live on YouTube as well, guys, and I'll be live all weekend as well, starting on Saturday afternoon into Sunday. So if you guys want to watch me all weekend and watch me break down the coverage live as it happens, go subscribe over on YouTube, WX Rundown, or even here on TikTok. I'll be live on both. I just went through central Indiana, but central Indiana is probably looking in that 8 to 12 range. Ohio is 6 to 12 inches. Southern Indiana is probably going to be in that 8 to 12 range, with, I would say, far parts of southern Indiana is going to be closer to 12. I'm getting over to the Northeast soon, guys. Okay. I'm getting to the Northeast soon. Let's get to the Mid Atlantic. South Carolina, I don't expect any really snow accumulation to happen. It's going to be mostly icing, and then changes over to rain. Same thing with Georgia. Northern parts of Georgia, it's going to start as icing at the very beginning, and then it'll transition over to rain at the end of the event and kind of melt everything away. North Carolina is also going to get on some lots of icing, as well as Virginia. But 1 to 3 inches could be expected in northwestern parts of North Carolina. And now Virginia. Virginia is kind of the big toss up for me. Virginia's got me kind of perplexed a little bit, because you're supposed to see a lot of icing in Virginia, but also big time snow if the snow band's set up there and are able to push down south enough. If that freezing line is able to push south far enough. So I say far southern parts of Virginia, yeah, it's probably looking at like a 3 to 5 inch range, and then central parts of Virginia is looking to be in that 6 to 12 inch range. Okay, so anywhere right here for Virginia is looking to be in that 6 to 12 inch range, and then northern parts of Virginia are really looking to be in that 12 to 18 inch range. So again, I'm not sure if that's going to happen because with all the icing that happens is expected to happen. But if this happens, then this is what it's calling for. So if those snow bands sit up in northern parts of Virginia, you guys could definitely be upwards to a foot and a half of snow or so. Now we're gonna get to the northeast, and this is where the big blockbuster of snow for the event comes into play. Um, so pretty much all of Pennsylvania is expected to get at least probably a foot of snow, I would say, at this point. With far eastern parts of the state probably getting the most, I would say 16 to 22 inches is very likely for parts of the Pennsylvania, eastern side of Pennsylvania to the even the central Pennsylvania. We're looking at 15 plus inches is easily expected here. And then as we get over to Jersey, again, Jersey is also kind of it's going to get close to that freezing line, especially in southern parts of Jersey and DC area. But as of right now, the blend of models is saying that it's expected a good 12 to 20 inches of snow, especially more northern parts of the state, is expected. So looking like a big snowstorm here as well. And then we get over to New York, and again, a good 12 to 20 inches for most of New York is very easily expected. With far northern parts of New York, upstate New York, going to be probably in that 10 to or that 6 to 10 inch range, but a very small part of upstate New York. Most of the state's going to be in that 12 to 20 range. And then as we get over to Connecticut, Rhode Island, again, I don't see how this part of the country doesn't get anything less than like 12 to 14 inches. Every model so far has just been, kind of just off the charts as far as like they've all been kind of in agreement. So this is the National Weather Service blended models. Like I said, it's on the low end, it's blended all together. So that way it gives you averages of the high and lows. So usually it's on the more reserved side. Danielle, how much is the probability for a foot? Trenton, New Jersey. Do you think the ice will affect Trenton? Depends on how far that freezing line goes to the north. If that freezing line pushes up a little bit, then it could be. But I still think Jersey for the most part, unless you're in far southern Jersey. Um, I think far southern New Jersey is going to be the biggest question mark for me. That's where I can't really. It's saying here that it's probably going to be a foot plus, but this is the biggest question mark for me in this area, just because of that freezing line. I just don't know where that icing's going to set up. But again, if you start seeing heavy snow start to dump, I would probably look at it and go, I'm probably going to get over a foot of snow from this. Again, if that freezing rain doesn't set up and it starts as snow, you're probably going to be getting just dumped on with snow. And then over here into Connecticut, Rhode Island, again, like I was just saying, I don't see how we get anywhere out of this without a foot plus easily. So again, I would say right now a safe bet is 16 to 20 inches or so. If you want a little bit more broad, 12 to 20 inches is definitely probably expected. And then we get to parts of Massachusetts where I think the real blockbuster is going to happen here, especially for Boston and along the coastline here down to the Cape, where we could see upwards to 2+ feet of snow right along the Massachusetts coastline, even inland a little bit, upwards to 20 to 22 inches is expected as we get closer to Foxborough. I really, I wish that, well, I guess it's already too far out. It would have been too far out and missed it anyways. I'll say I wish the Patriots were playing at home this Sunday, but it would be too far out anyways. So it would already have happened. But that's that. And then southern parts of Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine are all also going to get in on a good, I would say, 6 to 12 inches of snow is very easily with higher amounts of the farther south you go. So southern Vermont, New Hampshire, probably going to get in on that 15 to 20 inch range. And then I would say for Maine, it's probably going to be more of the where I'm located. It's probably going to be more of that like 10 to 20 inch range is probably going to be more likely for this far southern part of Maine. And then all central Maine upwards to down east Maine is going to be in, I would say, probably 6 to 12 inches, with far northern Maine being in on that 6 to 10 inch range. Um, Kim, thank you for liking the live. Ryan, thank you for taking care of the chat. I know we got a lot of people kind of joining right now and tuning in. Thank you guys so much. Again, I'm going to be live all weekend as well. So make sure you're hitting that follow button above my head on TikTok. Make sure you're subscribing over on YouTube, as we got a lot to go over. And we're going to be live all weekend with traffic cameras in the area and just kind of monitoring everything and watching radar and seeing how things set up. Yeah, North Georgia is going to be mostly ice to start, and then it should transition over to rain for the most part. Kim, thank you for the follow. User, thank you for the follow. AO, thank you for the follow. Ain't looking forward to this storm. Yeah, it's going to be treacherous. I'll say this again, guys. If you are anywhere where the freezing rain is expected, again, you have to take it seriously. If you don't have studded, I know you guys don't have studded tires down there. So if you guys don't have studded tires on your car, if the plows aren't equipped to do sand to sand the roads, like you're gonna have a treacherous time. So let me go over this graphic one more time again for you guys. This is how precipitation starts and ends, okay? So if you didn't know, all precipitation, whether it be wintertime, summertime thunderstorm, wintertime snowstorm, doesn't matter. All precipitation starts as snow. It's so high up, it's so cold, high up in the sky, that everything starts as snow. But then during the summertime, during thunderstorms, it's so warm though, the warm air aloft is so warm, it always stays as rain as it falls. But in the wintertime, if it starts as snow and if it's cold through all layers of the atmosphere, it stays as snow. But right here, if you look, if you get a little bit of warm air that kind of injects itself in the aloft, that's when you get sleet. So it starts as snow, it melts, and then it refreezes as it goes back down into the ground level, and it ends up as sleet. But then the most hard part to forecast, which is why this forecast is kind of, you'll hear a dozen different forecasts from a dozen different meteorologists. Again, I'm not one, so follow your local National Weather Service and their guidance and what they're saying. But the hardest part right here is this right here, freezing rain. That why is that so hard to predict? Is because we don't know how much warm air is going to be injected aloft and pushed. And so when warm air is being pushed to certain areas, we just don't know where that's going to be pushed to. And so what happens with freezing rain is that it starts as snow very high up, starts as snow, and then that there's a larger area of warm air. And so as it falls, it melts and becomes rain again. Okay. As it comes down and hits the ground, it hits the ground as rain because it was so much warm air aloft that it stayed as rain all the way till it hits the ground. But the reason why it's called freezing rain is because at the ground level, it is below freezing. That means it's cold enough outside where you are to be freezing still. So as that rain hits, it freezes. And then as more rain falls, it freezes and freezes and freezes. And that's how you get ice accretion and ice buildup. And so that's what freezing rain is. And so that's why it's so hard to tell. And then the last part of it is rain. And that is just the warm air stays aloft through all layers of the atmosphere until it hits the ground and where you are. And that's why it stays as rain the whole time. Hopefully that makes sense. Yes, get the milk and bread. Get the milk and bread. Live goal has been achieved. Aaron, thank you so much for the roses. Laura, thank you as well. Thank you guys so much for the roses. Again, I'm going to be live all weekend on TikTok and YouTube. WX Rundown is my username on both places. I just posted a new forecast video as well on TikTok and on YouTube. And I will be probably posting one more quick one tomorrow. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Make sure if you guys can, make sure you're liking and sharing the videos because it definitely helps out with the algorithm. It helps me get pushed to more people. So definitely help out if you can on that front. Sorry, I'm just editing something. I've also been looking up so much that my neck is killing me. How do we do this? There we go. Upstate New York should be okay. Again, 6 to 12 inches is probably good for upstate New York. Depends on how far upstate New York you are, though. The more upstate you are, the less you're going to get. Arton, thank you for the follow. Florida, that's a good question. Is Florida going to get hit with the cold? Let's look at Florida. The coldest day for Florida, it's not going to be like what you guys just had. Coldest day for Florida, if you're in the Panhandle of Florida looks to be getting down into the teens and well, let me look. This is a wind chill. I'd say the coldest day for Florida for you is going to be probably on Monday if you're in the Panhandle. But anywhere from Jackson south to Orlando and more south of that, it's all going to be fine. And then you have another dip of cold air on Tuesday morning, and that could dip down to the 30s by Tampa and Orlando, but then it should quickly warm right back up. So you'd be fine in Florida. I wouldn't worry too much in Florida. Elliot, thank you for the corn. Kim, thank you for the 2026s. Thank you guys. Uh, Noodle says hi, Ryan. I don't see Ryan. Is Ryan here? Southern PA, South PA. Southern PA is probably going to be in that 15 to 20 range. I just don't see how you get away from not being in that 15 to 20 range in Pennsylvania. The whole state's going to see. Here, I'm going to relax a little bit, guys. Now, I've been talking for an hour plus now straight. So I'm going to kind of relax and just kind of look at the chat a little bit and kind of give you guys a, you know, uh, I'm driving from Jackson, Florida, to Houston Saturday morning. Am I cooked? Saturday morning from Jackson to Houston. Yeah, I mean, it depends on how much you hug the coast. If you hug the Gulf Coast, you shouldn't. It's going to be definitely messy, but it's going to be mostly rain. But yeah, I wouldn't. I would probably just like wait for everything to kind of clear up. Jug and Joe, thank you for the follow. Boston snow. Heath, you're gonna get clobbered in Boston. Northeast is gonna get clobbered, but again, Boston, I believe anywhere from Boston to Central Mass is gonna get in on that 18 plus inches. I would not be surprised to see Boston with over 2 feet of snow by the time it's all said and done on Tuesday, Wednesday. What if you're in purple? So if you're talking about this map right here, if you're in the purple ranges are going to be anywhere from 6 to 10 inches or so. If you're talking about these deep reds purple, then that's going to be in that like 12 to 20 plus range. Maryland's going to be in on probably a foot of snow or so. It just really depends on that freezing line for Maryland. Maryland gets a little bit tricky. Chicago should be fine. How does Chicago look like on Saturday and Sunday? Chicago looks fine. You might get a little bit of snow, maybe 3 to 5 inches, but I don't think anything more than that for Chicago. Georgia right now looking like northeastern parts of Georgia and northern parts of Georgia start as ice and then transition to all rain as we get further into the storm. Virginia is really tough. Depends on what part of Virginia you're in. What about that orange color? Orange color is higher elevations and just higher snow totals, really, but usually correlates with higher elevations. But yeah, higher orange color is big time snow. Big time snow. We're talking about 20, 30 plus inches of snow in the orange colors. Montana is going to be fine. What about Austin, Texas? People are going crazy at stores here. On Austin, Texas? Really? Let's take a look. Excuse me. I mean, yeah, Austin should be. I mean, I think it's gonna. Let's take a look at our look. Let's take a look at our latest Rufus run. The latest Rufus, yeah, Austin should be mostly rain. Like people shouldn't be freaking out at Austin for any means. Austin's gonna be fine. It's more the northern part of Texas into the panhandle of Texas that's gonna get snow and ice and sleet into Oklahoma. People are panicking in Memphis again. I hope that everyone watching right now that's on this stream right here or on YouTube, I hope you guys are understanding that I'm trying to help educate you guys, give you guys a little bit more insight, a little bit more clarity on what it currently looks like. Again, I hopefully I'm not inciting more panic in you, okay? I want you guys to be fed knowledge and data and facts, and that way you can go with that and kind of know what to look forward to or look at. So hopefully this is helping in a positive way. I don't want you guys to be getting more anxious from it. Again, the icing is going to be the biggest headline of this whole event. But yeah, Memphis is probably again, Memphis is going to be right on that sleet into freeze and rain line, and it looks like some rain is trying to creep in there on the Rufus model. Rufus model is just a more high definition model, and so you see that it tries to get some rain in there for you guys, but a far western and western parts of Tennessee to central Tennessee, even parts of eastern Tennessee at the very end there too, as it builds over to the Carolinas, gets in on some of that freeze and rain. But it really is, again, take this for what it's worth, and it's only worth so much, and that is that this is just a kind of a guidance on what it could look like. This is not exactly what it's going to look like. We cannot predict the weather. We can only try to forecast it the best we can, and that's what these models try to do a good job at. Virginia, Jasmine says, Virginia is really tricky. Okay, Jasmine, Virginia is tricky because we just don't know where. So if we look at the latest Rufus here, we see that Virginia starts off as mostly snow from central to northern Virginia. The purple is sleet, so we're gonna have some snow accumulation and freezing accumulation here. And then we see that that icing just really creeps in there at the end. So really worst case kind of scenario, because you don't want a bunch of snow to fall and then ice. It might help a little bit for the roads, but what generally happens here is that snow falls and then ice falls on top of it, or freezing rain, and then it freezes on top of that snow, and then you have a nice crunchy layer of stuff that kind of coats it. So really don't want that. So Virginia is going to start as snow, change to sleet and freeze and rain, and it looks like it's going to end as freeze and rain. And Virginia looks to be mostly freeze and rain at the end of it. So starts as snow, transitions to sleet, and then freeze and rain by Sunday, Monday, before it's all out of here by Tuesday. So what does that mean for Virginia? It means that you're probably looking like this for Virginia. This is the latest National Weather Service blend of models for the Mid-Atlantic. Northern parts of Virginia are probably going to be in that 12 to 20 range, whereas central parts of Virginia is probably going to be the 8 to 12 range. And that southern part where that sleet's going to set up and icing starts is going to be probably in that 2 to 5 range, is probably going to be the best guess. Why did I have to be born in PA? Yeah, Pennsylvania is going to be, again, Pennsylvania is going to be a good 12 to 20 inches. The further east you are in the state, in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, is going to be more in that 16 to 20 inch range. Kentucky, again, parts of Kentucky are going to be, again, I've talked about all these places, so I'm just going to try to keep running over these places for you guys so that way you guys know. So please, if you hear Kentucky, if you live in Kentucky, now is your chance to listen up. Okay, Kentucky, most of Kentucky is going to get in on that 6 to 12 range. Unless you're in this deeper purples here, that's going to be more the 12 to 15 inch range or so. Okay, especially in this deep dark red here, you're going to be looking at a foot plus of snow. So anywhere in central to northern Kentucky, you're looking at a foot plus. And I say plus because it could be upwards to 13, 14, 15 inches, but northern parts of Kentucky here are looking like that. New winter storm warning for Colorado just issued. That's why I'm turning pink right now. But yeah, central parts of Kentucky is going to be in that 6 to 12 range, and then southern parts of Kentucky is going to be in that 2 to probably 6 inch range, 2 to 8 inch range. It just really depends on where you want to call southern Kentucky. And then the further south and western or southeastern you get in Kentucky is really where that icing sets up and that sleet and freezing line is, which is really going to be hard to tell over here. Ohio. Ohio is going to be a good 6 to 12 inches for Ohio. Columbus. Columbus could see upwards to a foot. I would say Columbus is probably going to be the 8 to 12 range. Again, I'm trying to remember where everyone's locations are. I would like to think that I know where Columbus is. I think it's right in this area here. Um, but yeah, southwestern parts of Ohio definitely going to be in that foot plus range, and then far eastern parts of Ohio as well going to be probably looking at a foot or snow. Everywhere else in this lighter pink to purple is going to be a good 6 to 12 inches for Ohio. New York, how much snow in Winston-Salem? Connecticut, Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm trying to keep up with you guys here. I'm trying to keep up. Tim, thank you for the dolphin. Appreciate that. Thank you. All right, let's go back to the Mid-Atlantic. If you are in South Carolina, you mostly need to worry about icing to start this event and to end this event with some rain. If you're in North Carolina, again, North Carolina, listen up. This is for you guys. Again, I don't know where everyone's located, so I'm just going to call it directions here on the map. So if you're in central to eastern parts of the state, you're going to be mostly into that icing and uh, rain portion of the state. Okay. If you're in northern and western parts of the state, you're looking at probably 1 to 3 inches of snow slash sleet. But you're going to be also you're going to be in on that freezing rain. So here's South Carolina, lots of freezing rain. Okay, lots of freezing rain for the Carolinas before it moves out of there, and it probably is. I honestly, I think North Carolina stays freezing rain for the most part, uh, with a little bit of that snow that starts off the beginning. So yeah, that's North Carolina. If we look at Virginia again, southern parts of Virginia, looking at that 2 to 5, 6 inch range. Central parts of Virginia is probably going to be looking at 6 to 12, where the northern part of Virginia is going to be that 12 plus range, upwards to 15, 16 inches. Again, if we look at PA, PA is going to be mostly 12 inches to 20 inches. The further south and eastern you go is really where you're going to get that 15, 16 plus inches, upwards to 20 inches. If we're talking about Delaware, Jersey, Maryland, DC, all those areas, New Jersey, you're going to be in that 12 to 20 inch range as well. The more north you go here for Jersey, though, is probably more likely that you're going to see that upwards to 16 to 20 plus inches of snow for Jersey. And then as we go to the northeast here again, as we go to the northeast, again, New York. New York stands to get 12 to 20 inches easily from this. Besides upstate New York, far parts of upstate New York are probably going to be in that 10 to 12 inch range, or not 10 to 12 inch, 7 to 12 inch range. Sorry, 7 to 12 inch range for this near, very high part of upstate New York here. And then if we're talking about Connecticut, Rhode Island, again, you guys are going to be in that 12 to 20 inch range as well. Long Island as well, 12 to 20 inch range. And then Massachusetts, we're looking at a good 12 to 20 inches easily, with far portions here on the coastline from Boston all the way down to the Cape, looking at possibly 2 feet plus of snow possible here. So again, big time snow. Southern parts of New Hampshire, Maine, and Vermont are also looking at that 15 plus inch range, where central parts of New York, not New York, New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine are probably going to be looking at that 12 to 20 inch range as well. And then northern parts of Vermont, New Hampshire are going to be looking at that 6 to 10 inch range. And then central Maine down to down east Maine is going to be looking at that 6 to 12 inch range as well, with far northern parts of Maine looking at 6 to 10 inches. He's going to try to help as many people as possible, but please do not spam. I do not want to mute you. Yes, please do if you can. Uh, Again, yeah, please. I'm trying to get to everybody as I can, guys. I'm trying. Again, it's so much. Let me go to my website here, guys. Here's wxrundown.com. If you guys don't know, I have a website. You can go to it right now and see across the country. You can see the radar, wxrundown.com. All this dark blue right here, this is extreme cold warnings. Look at all this pink right here, guys. All this pink is winter storm warnings, okay? So I have people that are tuning in from all parts of the country right now that are trying to ask me exactly where they want their forecast, I just can't cover everybody. I can't cover, it's just too many, okay? Caitlin, thank you for the follow. I'm going to be live all weekend, though. Missouri should be all snow, so Joplin should stay all snow, but you are close in Joplin there, so it might mix a little bit, but you should remain all snow. So yeah, all this pink right here is going to be all winter storm warnings. And we also have cold warnings below all this stuff too. Cold weather advisories, extreme cold warnings have already been issued for Arkansas and Texas. That's probably why people are kind of freaking out. Austin, you said. They do have Austin in a winter storm warning, which is actually kind of interesting. For a 10th to a 4th of inch of ices across the warning area. All right, so they think that it's going to ice down in Austin, so we'll see if that happens. Jersey is probably going to be far northern parts of New Jersey is going to probably be upwards to 15 to 20 inches. Southern parts of New Jersey depends on that freezing line, but I think a foot of snow is definitely possible in New Jersey easily. We have ice storm warnings issued for parts of Mississippi, and Tennessee. So yeah, this is wxrundown.com. It's my website. It's free. You can sign up. You can log in and make an account. You don't have to though. Everything is free. We have radars on here. So if you click on a radar site, it will load up radar for you. Let me see. Let's find a place that actually has precipitation. Which I don't know which has precipitation, if there's any precipitation right now in the country. But yeah, you can click on the radar sites, look at radar, velocity scans, everything like that. So this is wxrundown.com if you guys want to go onto my website, help support me. Again, it's just a way to show support. It's totally free. And if you do go on the website, there's a tab called Storm Reports on the website. And if you go to Storm Reports, you'll see this submit a storm report. And we're going to be utilizing this on Saturday and Sunday. So you can go on the website, select your, if you're signed in, it will tell you to sign in if you're not signed in, but it will tell you to sign in. And then it takes your name, and then it asks you what type of report you're going to submit, whether it be flooding, snow, hail, icing. And then you can tell me where you're located, and you can describe what you're seeing, what's happening there. And it's a whole storm report that I can see. Another thing that we will happen as well is on the radar. I'm going to talk about this for a little bit longer, and then we're going to move on from it. Okay, guys, I don't want to bore you. New snow squall warning for New York. That's why I'm pink right now. But another thing that is on the website is there's a little thing called share your location on the map. You can share your location with me on your map, and it's a kind of way where I can see where you are located in the world. And if you guys want, you can do it right now if you want to. If you go to wxrundown.com, in the top right, if you're on mobile, the top right, there should be like a little share or location icon. You can click on it, sign in, make a free account, and then share your location, and you'll populate on this map right now. So right now we don't have anyone on here, but if you do share your location, it will populate on here. Let's see the snow squall warning over here in New York. So there's the radar, and you can cycle through the frames and everything like that and see the frame radar frames. It's pretty cool. All built by me. So yeah, please help support it. It's all free. Hey, how's it going, Ryan? Michigan should be okay. I think you're going to get maybe a little bit of snow flurries from it, but Michigan should be fine. Not Jules says New Hampshire. Depends on what part of New Hampshire you're in. Again, where are we at here? So many different tabs. Yeah, if you're in southern parts of New Hampshire, yeah, I would say probably 12 to 20 inches is very much expected for southern parts of New Hampshire and Vermont. And then as you get to central New Hampshire, Vermont, we're looking probably closer to a foot. And then northern parts of Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine are going to be in that 6 to 12 inch range. Little Rock, will Little Rock get ice or snow? That is the $1 million question right now, because if you look at Little Rock right now, it's kind of smack dab in the middle. So let me go over to the Rufus here. And Rufus is just the model I'm using. It's a high definition model here. And if you look at Little Rock right now seems to be right close to that, but mostly ice, snow. God, what am I saying? Little Rock seems to be mostly icing right on this model run, with the sleet line just to the north of it. So Little Rock looks to be that it's going to stay mostly icing through the duration of this event before it's all said and done, with that sleet and snow line to the north of Little Rock. New extreme cold warning for Nebraska. Now I'm blue. So extreme cold warnings are going to be going. I just got off home from work. Good to see you, Ryan. Good to see you. Follow him. He helped me out so much last year when we had a tornado coming at us in Greensburg. Hey, it's Katie. How's it going, Katie? I remember you. Hopefully you're doing well. Katie, I'm going to be back this year as well for severe weather coverage. I got you guys covered. Nebraska looks to be on the lower end of snowfall. I think we're going to be in the, what did I say, 4 to 8 range for snowfall for Nebraska. Let's see. Yeah, I would say probably in the 2 to 6 range for Nebraska on this latest run. So I would say far southern, southeastern parts of Nebraska could be upwards to the 8, 9 inches, but I didn't get my thoughts specifically on Texarkana, but I'll go over Texas since it looks like we have a few people from Texas tuning in. If you guys are tuning in from Texas right now, let me know in the comments and we'll talk about Texas a little bit. I'm not going to be able to get to everyone's location, but yeah, school closures are going to be hard to determine, but I would say, let me just say this. Let me just say this. It's happening over the weekend, so school closures are going to be more probably focused on the East Coast as we get into, I would say again, it depends on on whether or not people lose power and as well. New snow squall warning for Maine. That was that storm we were just looking at. They just issued it over the border to Maine where I'm at. Um, the thing about it is that this is going to be all said and done for like Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Arkansas, Louisiana by Monday. The problem with it is how cleaned up are you guys going to be by Monday? And do you guys have power? That's going to be the big thing. It's winter shop work, so it's pretty laid back. Georgia, northern Georgia should start as ice and then transition to rain. Hold on, I need to get a drink. I need a drink here, guys. I've been talking for an hour and a half straight. I'm gonna wrap it up here soon, guys, because I need to get some rest and get some new snowfall maps out. But there is a latest video, forecast video I just posted before going live today. If you guys want to check that out, show it some love. Again, I'm trying to get all the help I can get with the algorithm as I can. But we get a lot of people tuning in and asking for all their locations. Ohio is going to be 6 to 12 inches for most of Ohio. Far southwestern parts of Ohio is going to probably see the more of a foot or so than the other parts of Ohio. Rockio, thank you for the follow. How bad is Southern Indiana, Louisville metro area going to be? Probably going to be in that 12-inch plus range for that. You guys are commenting so quickly. Virginia is hard. Northern Virginia seems to see the most snow, where Central and Southern Virginia is going to get in on that sleet and ice action. Knoxville's probably going to be getting in on a lot of that icing as well. Maybe a little bit of mixing of rain, but it's going to be mostly icing threat for Knoxville. Again, stop. We're going to time you out. Time out. Michigan should be okay. Maybe a few inches of snow up in Michigan that I'm aware of. I haven't actually checked in Michigan. Let me check Michigan for you. Let's see what Michigan's looking like as far as the blend of models goes here. Yeah, you probably, I would say again, Michigan's been getting hammered anyways with lake effect snow and everything. But yeah, as a whole state, probably 3 to 6 inches as a whole now through next Wednesday, with most of that coming from this storm over Sunday, Monday. Kansas City, again, most of Missouri is going to get in on that snow action. I don't see much ice coming through for Kansas City. Missouri is going to be mostly, a good 6 to 12 inches for Missouri. Illinois, a good 6 to 12 inches for central to southern Illinois. And then from central to northern Illinois, probably going to be a good 2 to 6 inches for those parts. Again, southern Indiana is going to be probably in that 8 to 12 inch range. Ohio, pretty much all of Ohio is going to be 6 to 12 inches, with the southern part being more of the foot that you're probably going to see. Philadelphia is going to be 18 plus inches most likely, but a good 12 to 20 inches for Philadelphia is a good safe bet. New Jersey, same thing. Northern New Jersey, probably 12 to 20 inches is a good safe bet. Same thing for DC, maybe a little bit less, but I would say 12 to 15 inches for DC. It just depends on if that icing line, that freezing line, where it sets up. Kentucky, again, northern, again, I've been saying these places for the last hour and a half, so I do apologize if you're now just tuning in and hearing this for the first time. But northern Kentucky, again, northern Kentucky seems to be the big jackpot here for snow with upwards to a foot of snow, where central Kentucky is probably going to be in that 6 to 12 inch range. And then southern Kentucky is going to be probably that 2 to 6 inch range. Wichita, Kansas, probably going to be in 6 to 12 inch range as well. Let me go back over to Kansas to show you guys 6 to 12 inches. The more southern you are in Kansas is going to be more likely the more snow you're going to get. But 6 to 12 is good for most of the state besides the far northwestern side of Kansas. Central New Jersey is probably going to be on that like 8 to 12 inch range, but could easily get upwards to 15 inches. This depends on how far or north that snow dips down to the south. Michigan, again, I just talked about Michigan, but good 3 to 6 inches for Michigan now through Monday, Tuesday. Upstate New York, far parts of upstate New York are going to get that lesser amounts. Far up parts states of New York are going to be in that like 8 to 12 inch range. And then the rest of New York is going to get in on 12 to 20 inches easily, with places in the orange here, higher elevation is going to be upwards to 2 feet of snow. Philadelphia, again, good 18 plus inches is probably likely, but a good 12 to 20 inches for the Philly area is more likely than none. We got 300 or so people tuning in. Sid, thank you for those roses. Uh, let's see if I can get a galaxy. Let me set a galaxy goal. I haven't set a galaxy goal this whole time. I think I want a galaxy. Let's see if I can. Again, I'm doing this for free, so I don't really care if I get the gifts or not, but let's just set one anyways. Again, I'm going to be live on Saturday and Sunday as well. So again, yeah, we haven't talked nearly enough about the wind chills and frostbite and stuff like that. So definitely, we'll talk about that here in a second. Jesus, there are so many gifts. All right, never mind. I don't care. There we go. All right, there's a new TikTok live goal. It's just to help push the algorithm, showing that we're pushing gifts. Again, that's what TikTok loves. I don't care. All right, the predicted wind chills can cause frostbite, uncovered extremities within 10 minutes. Exactly, Ryan. Um, we haven't talked about this nearly as much because everyone's just wants to know about the snowfall, but let's go over to our wind chills again. And again, we're gonna have wind chills dipping down as the start of tomorrow, as of early as tomorrow in the plains here. Negative 20. Actually, this isn't even the wind chill index. Here we go. I'm supposed to say I thought it was low. We're gonna have wind chill values dipping down here as of late tonight into tomorrow. Negative 30, negative 40, negative 50 below for the plains here. And that's what's really going to be dipping down as far south here as, Kentucky, Arkansas, Missouri, all those places. So as you can see here, this is Friday afternoon and Friday afternoon into evening. And we're looking at values, wind chill values of negative 50 almost, all in this like kind of bluish green area here in gray. And so that is nothing to be played with. You do not want to mess with that. Frostbite can happen, like what Ryan was just saying, within minutes. And look at that, dips down again. And we're talking about here on Saturday, we're talking about places like Oklahoma, Kansas, Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, dipping down negative 10, negative 20 degree wind chills values, all the way over to the northeast, which could be upwards to negative 30, negative 40 as well on Saturday into Sunday. And that's going to continue going here. Here we go again. This is Monday. This is on Monday, January 26th. And look at that. We're talking about parts of Texas and Oklahoma, negative 20 degree wind chills, Kansas, Arkansas, Missouri. Again, all the same places. They just had all that cold wind chill are continuously going through Monday. And that's going to continue all the way into Tuesday over in the Midwest and Ohio Valley, and then over into the Northeast before it's kind of out of here. But it's still going to be super cold here, even on Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. Christy says Knoxville, Tennessee. Knoxville, Tennessee. Leroy, thank you for the roses. Jen, thank you for the heart me. Jay Pimming, thank you for the goat. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, Knoxville is going to be, let me go back over here. Again, Knoxville is going to get in a little bit of snow but it's mostly going to stay. Oh, I got so many screens to change here. But it's mostly going to stay icing from the western, northwestern side of Tennessee. It's going to stay icing and freezing rain. And then as it transitions over, there's going to be a little bit of rain that kind of tries to get in there. But even eastern parts of Tennessee are going to see that icing develop. So as it develops into the Carolinas. So it looks to be mostly icing with snow at the very beginning, snow and sleet at the very beginning on Saturday, Friday into Saturday. And then it changes over to icing, freezing rain, and a little bit of rain. And then it comes in again as ice and rain before it's all over with. So again, I think Tennessee is mostly going to be a icing event with western parts of Tennessee seeing a little bit of snow. But for the most part, it's going to be a freezing rain event for most of Tennessee. Same thing with southern parts of Kentucky. Is going to be icing as well. And even a lot of Tennessee is not Tennessee, a lot of Kentucky actually. But it's going to be snow at first. So this is it. It's going to be a little confusing because you're going to be like, wait, I thought we were getting freezing rain and ice. Why is it snowing? Parts of like Kentucky, West Virginia, Virginia, all those places are going to see snow first before it switches over to freezing rain as that warm air kind of injects itself. So you might be a little confused here if you're in parts of Arkansas, Tennessee. Well, yeah, parts of Arkansas, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Virginia. All those places are going to see snow first, and then that warm air injects itself, and that freezing line kind of pushes itself up. Just join your website and set my location if you want to show it. Perfect. Okay, let me check it, Mike. Let's see if we can find Mike on the map here, guys. Yep, we got locations on the map here. So there is Ryan over here, one of our mods over here in Iowa. There he is sharing his location. And looks like we got maybe Mike down here. Oh, this is Ted over here. Ted over here in Tennessee, looks like. And that's the two of you. So yeah, if you guys want to share your location, go over to wxrundown.com. You can share your location on the map. I'm going to be using this on Saturday and Sunday as we're live and reporting on the weather. And if you guys want to share your location, just go to wxrundown.com, sign in to an account. Just use your Google account or Facebook, wherever you want. You can sign into that account. And then once you're signed in on the map, you're going to see a little icon on the right side or the bottom left side if you're on desktop. And it will say like share location, or you'll see like a little location marker. You can click on that. And when you click on that, it will say like enter your name and a little message. You can enter a little message and your location will show up on our map here. And we can kind of talk about your location and what you're seeing and stuff like that. So kind of cool. Not the first to do it, but it's definitely a cool little feature. Raya says, find me now. Haha. Did you do it, Raya, or are you just messing around? Shelby, thank you for the follow again, guys. I'm gonna be live all weekend. Okay, I have to work on Saturday morning, but I will be live as of Saturday afternoon, and I'm gonna plan on staying live almost the whole day Saturday, and then Sunday as well, and even parts of Monday probably as well. Will Nebraska schools be canceled? Do they normally cancel school for 3 to 6 inches of snow? And if so, I think it's going to be all said and done before the weekend's even over. So I think Nebraska is going to be fine. Excuse me. I did it. All right. Raya says I did it. Noodles just shared. Noodles is over here, and one of our mods is in Colorado Springs. I'm going to be working on getting like little emojis too for you guys, or little like avatars to include to choose to show as up on the marker on the screen. Right now it just shows our little logo. Raya, I don't think you did it, Raya. Noodles just showed up. I don't see yours. Oh, wait. I think we got Raya now. Nope, we got Marco. Weather conditions here. So Marco is asking about weather conditions over in Myrtle Beach. Again, Myrtle Beach, I think you're going to be fine in Myrtle Beach. I think you're going to have a little bit of icing, and then it's going to just be mostly rain as it transitions over for the end of it at the very end. But I would even be surprised if you get let's see what Myrtle Beach is looking like for icing as well. If we look, yeah, Myrtle Beach might be fine. Yeah, you guys might be fine over there in Myrtle Beach. Maybe a little bit of rain, maybe a little bit of freezing drizzle, but I think Myrtle Beach is going to be kind of fine out of this. Might be a little messy, might be a little cold outside, but I think you're going to be okay in Myrtle Beach. Ohio,
A special weather
wxrundown.com.
statement has been issued.
New special weather statement's been issued for Minnesota. wxrundown.com. If one of the mods can post it in the chat on TikTok, it was loading. Yeah, if one of the mods wants to put it in the pin the comment in chat, wxrundown.com is the website if you guys want to have your locations on the map or just have access to my radar app. Again, this is totally free. It doesn't not cost you anything. You just get to log in and you can see, like, here we go. We have our mod Raya. Here's Raya. Raya is right outside of Atlanta. It's south side of Atlanta. wxrundown.com. If you guys want to sign up on the website, you guys can see live radar imagery, especially when tornado season comes into play. We're going to have velocity scans. This is what I'm going to be using during severe weather season and this weekend. All kinds of things you can do. There's a spotter network. So if you guys want to see spotter locations in real time, you can do that as well. Let me change some stuff here. Let's go storm based. And as you can see, these little dots here all over the map, they might be a little bit hard to see on stream here because they're kind of tiny, but there's little dots all over the map and they show up with weather spotters all across the country. So there's stuff like that, all kinds of stuff. Again, I'm offering this all for free right now. I don't know if this is always going to be a free free website, but definitely get in. Like and share this as to as many people as you can. Yes, I appreciate that, Ryan. Thank you for that. But yeah, WX Rundown is the website if you guys want to share your locations. Jay just shared their location over here. Where's that at? Is this Jersey or New York? Looks like it's just over the border, perhaps. But yeah, Jay's sharing the location over there at Edison, around Edison. And again, you're going to be looking at that 12 to 20 inch range over there. So over there for you, Jay. This is a work in progress. I've been working on this app or this website for the last, almost a year now. So it's finally ready for the masses. We have a pretty good snow squall warning over here in Maine. Oh, don't want to do that. That's my automated system that I'm been working on. Here's our snow squall warning. If we want to go to main cam, if we go to main cam here, we have a snow squall warning here in Maine. And pretty good line of snowstorm. I don't have the actual precipitation type products available yet in the app. So like it doesn't show snow or icing and stuff like that. I'm working on that. It's just really hard to implement. But yeah, there's that snow squall warning for Maine. Let me look out my window. Still sunny, not snowing here. What did Mike say? Okay, perfect way to do it. I think most people want to share the location to find out more info for their pending storm. Yep, nope, that's fine. I think I answered it for Jay. Maybe I didn't answer it for you, Mike. I don't even know which one you are, Mike. Maybe Ted. Over there by Clarksville. But yeah, if you're for Ted over there in Clarksville on the border in Kentucky, yeah, it's going to be mostly icing to freeze and rain type of event for you guys over there. Yeah, no, yeah, get rid of those. Get rid of all those. Just shared mine as well. Okay, I'll take a look at a few more locations here. Here's Luke's location over here outside of Greenville. And Luke, you're probably going to be getting in on that icing for South Carolina. So if you look over here, let me see if I can. Oh, I got this all messed up now. Let's get back over here. We're looking at just about 24 hours away from the start of this event over in Texas and Oklahoma and Kansas. And yeah, Luke, you're definitely going to get on the icing. Might start off a little bit of rain at first, but it's going to quickly transition into freezing rain and ice for quite a bit. And then it might end as a little bit of rain as well for you over there. but it's going to be mostly a freeze and rain event. Long Island, I would a foot or so is guaranteed. I would say at this point. Mackenzie, thank you for sharing. Appreciate you. Yeah, Long Island, New York is going to be definitely in on that 12-inch plus range, but I would not be surprised to see 15 to 20 out there in Long Island. Elizabeth says Kingmore, Texas, close to Tyler. Yeah, you guys, I know you're probably in a winter storm warning out there over there in Tyler, Texas. Um, yeah, thank you, Raya. But they're calling for a quarter to a half inch of ice potentially. And the last check of the Rufus, I just didn't really see a lot of mixing happening that far south for Texas. Let's take a look at the Rufus again here. So anywhere in the pinks and the purples is going to be your icing and freezing rain and sleet. And I just don't see that mixing in. So let's take a look. So when one model doesn't correlate, we need to check other models, to see what they're saying. So let's look at the 12Z run of the European model. Let's see what the European model is saying. And when we look at this one, again, not really saying right there. That might be your best chance on Sunday as it kind of jets off to the northeast here at the very last end of it. That's when it's showing the most icing. Maybe the Rufus can't detect that yet. Right there. Okay, I guess I wasn't looking far enough. We get a second round that comes in. So you're gonna have this first round. And I think this is really what's triggering your winter storm warnings right here. Um, so that's going to potentially cause some havoc. Let's look at the latest National Weather Service blend of models for icing. Let's see what the icing's looking like. Let's see if this has changed a lot. And again, not really changed a lot. I mean, you're looking at maybe a tenth of an inch down there in Austin, maybe a tenth of an inch of ice, and then northeastern parts of Texas, probably upwards to over a quarter to a half inch of ice. And again, and it's all staying the same for northern Louisiana, southern parts of Arkansas to central Arkansas. Most of Mississippi now, like most of northern Mississippi, northwestern Mississippi is going to get on at least probably a half inch or so of icing. And then parts of western Tennessee, pretty much the whole state of Tennessee is going to see some sort of icing. It just depends on how much. New winter weather advisory issued for Kansas, parts of Kentucky as well. Looking at maybe a tenth of an inch of ice. Again, but I think Kentucky is kind of trending more on that snow side of things. So we'll have to keep watching Kentucky because Kentucky might come out of this with being a real snow winter. I think the more north you are in Kentucky, the better it's going to be for you for snow. And then North Carolina and Virginia seem to be big ice makers here into parts of South Carolina as well, with upwards to a quarter of an inch in South Carolina, in the northwestern part of South Carolina, and even parts of Georgia as well could see upwards to a quarter of an inch as well. That north eastern part of Georgia, like I was talking about before, it switches over to all rain. You are great, thank you, says Elizabeth. I appreciate the kind words. Thank you, Elizabeth. Tony, thank you for the follow. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, we're kind of winding down to the end of the stream here, guys. Because I gotta save my voice for the weekend. Brooke says, "Hey, I know you. I think I know you too." um, but yeah, and then the Mid Atlantic, for our North Carolina and Virginia is really going to be where a lot of the other icing is going to take place, especially along the coast there too. It looks like it could receive upwards to a half an inch of ice, which is just going to be detrimental. Lots of power outages are going to be expected here, so we'll have to keep watching that. If we look at the latest Euro run for the total freeze and rain, let's see if this kind of correlates with the blend of models. New Mexico. New Mexico is going to get on a little bit of snow. I know that. And the freeze and rain QPF is still just showing all kinds of freeze and rain. So again, this correlates again northeastern parts of Georgia, parts of northwestern parts of South Carolina into western South Carolina into central North Carolina, all the way into Georgia, not Georgia, Virginia and West Virginia as well, parts of West Virginia for that freeze and rain. And again, I think that far northeastern part of Texas, far southeastern parts of Oklahoma, and then Arkansas, really southern Arkansas could really get hit hard here with this freeze and rain, and parts of northwestern Mississippi and over into western Tennessee. That's going to be the thing. Raya has all of the uh Raya just became a super fan. Appreciate you, Raya. Those are all the weather emojis you can get. The don't be scared emoji. Have a plan. Stay weather aware. Thank you for that, Raya. Appreciate you. Run for your lives. No, that's not to cause panic by any means. It's to help
A
educate
special
people.
weather statement has been issued.
Special weather statement's been issued for Montana. What's going on in Montana? Do we have any new users on the weather app? Let's see if anyone else is on the app sharing their location. New freezing fog advisory for Oregon. All right, let's see. Mackenzie. Mackenzie's out there just to the north of Austin, over by Georgetown. Mackenzie is sharing their location. So yeah, you guys are definitely going to get in on some of that icing, especially on the back end of the thing, of the storm. So again, first part is going to mostly be looking like rain for you guys, especially down there in Austin. So we're talking about Friday into Saturday and even into Sunday. But as the second part of the storm comes into play here, we're going to get a quick line, which I'm still not convinced that Austin's going to get in on a bunch of this, but there's going to be enough freezing rain there that's going to cause just enough freezing to happen where it could cause a little bit of a disturbance there. So definitely, I know even down this area, even a little bit of icing is going to be a big thing. So definitely nothing to be playing around with, especially as we go forward here into Arkansas and Louisiana and parts of Mississippi. Again, ice is not to be played with. It's treacherous. You can be the greatest winter weather driver. Ice is still going to send your car flying into a ditch. Doesn't matter. Pittsburgh is more on that 8 to 12 mark on Pittsburgh, but you should probably see about a foot of snow or so in Pittsburgh. Did you do Minnesota? I have not done Minnesota. That's probably good. I don't think Minnesota's supposed to receive much besides just cold. Yeah. Um, it's just going to be cold, I think. Yeah, I think Minnesota is going to be okay as far as snow goes. It's just going to be very cold there. -30, -50 degree wind chills for you guys there in Minnesota. Noodles, thank you for wait, I wouldn't count your chickens yet. I think Eastern Kentucky fumbles. Eastern Kentucky fumbles in a good way or a bad way. You want snow or you don't want snow? What are you talking? All right, guys, what I'm going to do here is I have the latest 19Z run of the National Weather Service blend of models for snowfall. I'm going to talk about snowfall and one more time for across the country, and then I'm gonna get out of here. I've been going for 2 hours now straight, talking. I'm already starting to lose my voice a little bit, and I need to preserve it for this weekend because I will be live. Thank you for that update for WX Rundown, Raya. Again, if you guys want to sign up on the website, again, it's a free website, wxrundown.com. It's pinned comment in the chat. wxrundown.com. If you log in, you're going to be able to share your location on the map here. And if you share your location on the map, you can see right here, we have these little dots everywhere of people that are sharing their locations all across the country. And you guys can do that as well at wxrundown.com. There's going to be a little icon to share your location in the top right or the bottom left, depending on if you're on desktop or mobile. And we'll be utilizing this on Saturday and Sunday to kind of get an idea where people are at and what their conditions are for them. But yeah, wxrundown.com. It's a full-on radar app that I built myself with a little bit of AI. Again, you can see radar imagery. You can scrub through it. It's pretty cool stuff. We have velocity on there as well for tornado season, for detecting tornadoes. We have all kinds of stuff that are going to be amazing to have when it comes to severe weather season and even storms like this. So again, please go sign up on there if you want, and let's go through the country, and then we'll be out of here. Thanks, WX Rundown. This is so helpful to everyone. Scotty doesn't know ice, then the rain will wash it away. Yeah, pretty much. It's going to be probably about a quarter of an inch of ice to northern to northeastern parts of Georgia before it kind of gets all washed away. All right, let me take another drink really quick. All right. Again, because I cannot give everyone their own personalized forecast, like Ryan just said, WX Midwest, listen for your areas and limit personal requests, please. All right. So I'm going to go through every location, guys, state by state. This is what we're going to be expecting for snowfall. Again, it's not a solid, you know, in place forecast, but this is what the latest model guidance is kind of showing us from the National Weather Service blend of models. Okay. The National Weather Service blend of models takes 70 plus different models, puts them all together, and goes, what's the average here? What's the highs? What's the lows? What is most likely to happen? And that's what we're going to be looking at because it's the more reserved version. It's not what your local weather guy is going to say. Your local weather guy is going to use the Euro model or the GFS, and he's going to go, you're getting 35 inches tomorrow. That's not what this is. This is a blend of all of those models together, and it's more reserved and it's more of what's likely to happen. Okay. So that being said, I'm going to mute this notification sound just so that way it doesn't drive everyone crazy. And we're going to go state by state, and we're going to talk about the snow totals and what the kind of ice outlook looks like. Okay. If needed, we can turn off the comments so you can focus in the stream last minute. No, you're good. You can keep it all going. It's fine. Nope, not going to do Ohio first. Sorry, Osprey. All right, so let's start with Texas. So what is Texas looking like? Okay, so it's going to be, we're going to have a icing line right here and from Austin to the north. Northeastern Texas is going to stand to see the most icing out of this. Okay, far northeastern parts of Texas is going to be where the most icing is going to occur. Where the most snow is going to occur is in the Panhandle here. We're going to be looking at anywhere from 6 to 12 inches here in the Panhandle, especially the northeastern parts of the Panhandle of Texas here. Anywhere else is going to be anywhere from the 2 to 6 inch range from northern Texas down to central Texas or so, anywhere there. Over in New Mexico, we haven't really talked about New Mexico a lot, but they can also see anywhere from about 2 to 6 inches as well. And then higher elevations are going to be a little bit more as well. Let's talk about Oklahoma. Oklahoma is going to have a very strong line of sleet, freezing rain, and snow to the north. And so what that looks like is right here around the Red River, and basically anywhere to the south here in southern parts of Oklahoma is probably going to be in that 4 to 6 inch range, 4 to 8 inch range. And then anywhere from upwards towards like Norman, upwards to northern Oklahoma into Kansas is going to be definitely in that 6 to 12 inch range, maybe a little even bit more in the northern parts of Oklahoma. Okay. So anywhere in this dark red area here, you're going to be looking at probably 10 to 12 inches, probably as a good range for you. Anywhere in the light purples and light pinks is going to be 6 to 12 inches. Central US. What are we looking like for the central US? Well, Colorado is going to be looking at like about 2 to 6 inches. Might be a little heavy for there, but 2 to 4 inches easily for the lower elevations of Colorado over there to eastern Colorado. Oklahoma, again, like I said, most of Oklahoma is going to see that 6 to 12 inch range, with these deeper reds, purples here going to be in that 12 plus range right there. Kathy, thank you for the love you so much gift. And Natalie, thank you for those roses. Appreciate you guys. Nebraska, or not Nebraska, Kansas. I skipped a state. Kansas. If I'm grabbing my neck like this, guys, because my neck's hurting because I'm looking up and down. Uh, Kansas, I believe, is going to be a great 6 to 12 inch range is a good area for that. As you can see over here in far northwestern parts of Kansas, it's probably going to be more in that 2 to 5 inch range. But if you're anywhere over here and even more towards the south and south eastern part of the state, is probably where you're going to see that 6 to 12 inch range. Maybe even 12 to 14 inches as well in the very southern part of the state is definitely possible. Up here to Nebraska, we're looking at probably a good general 2 to 6 inches, with the 4 to 6 inch range being more towards the southern southeastern part of the state. Okay, let me catch my breath here. While we have it in view here, let's talk about Iowa. Iowa is going to be looking like a good 2 to 5 inches anywhere from the southern, from the central to the southern part of the state. Pretty much just goes, it's only, the storm's only going to reach so far north. So again, looking like a good 2 to 5 inches for most of Iowa, from central to southern Iowa, with southern Iowa being the more higher amounts. If we look at Missouri, we're looking at, 2 to 5 inches for the northern part of Missouri, just like with Iowa. And then anywhere from the northern part of Missouri to the southern part of Missouri is looking like that 6 to 12 inch range is a good guesstimation right now as we have it. But no one really is the big winner here. Maybe maybe towards Joplin down here, you might see maybe over a foot of snow, maybe a little bit higher totals there. But for the most part, the more south you are, the more snow is likely. But for the most part, the whole state for Missouri is looking like 6 to 12. Okay, guys, I'm going through all the states right now. Okay, so if you hear your state, just think about where you are in that state, and then we'll talk about it. Okay. Going down to the south here, this is where a lot of the icing is going to happen, especially at the northern part of the states here. So let's talk about Mississippi, not Mississippi, Louisiana. Let's talk about Louisiana. The far northern part of Louisiana to the northwestern part of Louisiana could get a few inches of snow, but it's mostly going to be in the beginning, and then it'll be all icing that happens with transitions to rain over time. That will happen, and that's for the far northern part of Mississippi. Why do I keep saying Mississippi? Louisiana, and then far southern, central and southern parts of Louisiana is going to be remain mostly rain. And then if we look into Arkansas, this is where I think one of our greatest chances for the most ice accretion is going to be, and that's for the central to southern parts of Arkansas. That's where I believe most of the ice is going to occur. But before that, we're going to get a little bit of snow before it all starts. And so a good 2 to 6 inches is probably a good range for central to southern parts of Arkansas. The more north you go in Arkansas, the more your greater your totals are going to be. Let me get changed up here a little bit. New extreme cold warning for Minnesota. It's going to be cold, that's for sure. And then as we get to central to northern parts of Arkansas, is really where we're going to see that 6 to 12 inch range, especially for the northwestern part and northern parts of Arkansas, and even over to the eastern part of the state. That's where we're going to see that 6 to 12 inch range really come into play. For Tennessee, Tennessee is going to get in on some snow action before it all switches to freezing rain, and then into parts of it's going to switch over to rain, freezing rain, rain, freezing rain. But when it's all said and done, it's probably going to be a good 1 to 3 inches of rain. 1 to 3 inches of rain, 1 to 3 inches of snow, and then 3 to 6 inches of snow for the north western parts of the state. So a good 1 to 3 inches is more for the central part of the state, anywhere in this light blue area here, and then again that north western part of the state could receive up to 4 to 6 inches of snow before the ice starts coming in to play. Missouri again, 6 to 12 inches is a good range there. Illinois, central Illinois down to southern Illinois, 6 to 12 inches is a good range for you guys as well. Anywhere from central to northern Illinois, a good 2 to 6 inches is probably likely for you guys there. Indiana, most of the state again is going to be in that 6 to 12 inch range, and I'm not just saying that to make it easy for myself, but all these values here are 5 to 6 inches all the way up to 12 inches. Okay. The farther south you are, southeastern you are in the state for Indiana, is where you're going to see those higher totals go. Okay. Kentucky is going to start off as mostly snow, and it might remain mostly snow. New blizzard warning for Michigan. So we have a new blizzard warning for Michigan that was just issued. We can talk about that in a second. Southern parts of Kentucky, though, are going to be on the lower end of snow totals because we think that sleet and freezing line is going to be right there for ice accretion and sleet. So far southern parts of Kentucky are looking more of like that 3 to 6 inch range over towards eastern Kentucky as well, where central and northern parts of Kentucky are probably going to be in that 4 to 12 inch range. I would even say 6 to 12 inch range to be a little bit easier. And then the far northern parts of Kentucky in this dark red right here are going to see probably 10 to 12 inches, if not more, upwards to 15 inches for those parts. And that goes into Ohio as well. Ohio is going to be a safe bet of 6 to 12 inches, where those dark reds, though, are in the southwestern parts of Ohio are going to definitely see that 12 plus range. But most of the state is going to see 6 to 12 inches for Ohio. All right. Almost there. Mid-Atlantic, guys. Mid-Atlantic. All right. So I don't believe that Georgia is going to see any snow accumulation. It's going to be mostly ice. Again, it's going to start mostly as ice, then transition to rain to wash it kind of all away. Same kind of thing goes for, well, actually, South Carolina is going to stay mostly ice. South Carolina, I do believe, will stay mostly ice, maybe a little bit of snow picking in there at the very northern parts of the border there. But again, it's going to be mostly freezing rain. New extreme cold warning for Iowa. But South Carolina is going to stay mostly ice and freezing rain It's going to be what you're going to have there pretty much throughout the whole duration of the event. It's going to be mostly for the northern northwestern part of the state that you're going to see most of the ice accumulation happen. North Carolina. North Carolina, especially northern and western part of North Carolina, is going to pick up a few inches of snow, maybe 1 to 4 inches of snow before it all changes over to freezing rain. Again, there's a pattern here. A lot of snow is going to happen first and then freezing rain after, or some places are just going to stay freezing rain. But North Carolina is going to be 1 to 4 inches, and then it's going to be mostly freezing rain, especially for this northwestern part of the state. And then it's going to transition to freezing rain and rain towards the end or towards the coast over here. But if we look at the Rufus there for the Carolinas, it's going to be our second area to watch out for. The first area is going to be Arkansas, Tennessee, Mississippi. Those are going to be the big ice maker. But here we go. North Carolina and Virginia are also going to be big ice makers. And before it all clears out, I think North Carolina and Virginia are going to end with mostly all icing. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. And if we look over towards Virginia, the same thing. Southern parts of Virginia are going to be mostly freezing rain, a little bit of snow accumulation from 2 to 4 inches, whereas central parts of Virginia are going to be in that 4 to 8 range. And then far northern parts of Virginia, from central to northern parts of Virginia, are going to be in that 12 to 18 inch range. I'm not sure. Again, the snow is going to come first and foremost, and then it's going to transition to ice. So it really just depends on how much that snow falls first, and then if that snow continues to fall when it gets pushed as the storm progresses forward. So we'll have to see on that. West Virginia is going to stay mostly has a little bit of freezing rain, but it's going to be seeing some snow as well. Let's talk about West Virginia a little bit. And that will see mostly snow, and then it will go into freezing rain and then some rain as well at the end as well. So again, the pattern continues: snow first, then freezing rain after is how that will go. Uh, as we get into the Northeast, let's talk about the Northeast. Northeast is the real blockbuster here, and I think I was about to say I thought we had a new run come out. But if we look at the Northeast here, we're talking about anywhere from Maryland, Delaware, DC, New Jersey, and even parts of Pennsylvania. Sorry, my brain's starting to fry. So I think New Jersey, for the most part, it's going to see 12 to 20 inches. It's just the way it's the way it seems to be playing out, and you could even see upwards to 2 feet. But I think 12 to 20 inches for most of New Jersey. I would say central to northern parts of New Jersey is definite. Southern parts gets a little bit more iffy, but most of New Jersey should see about 12 to 20 inches, which is a pretty big deal for them. Pennsylvania, a good 12 to 20 inches as well for Pennsylvania. As you can see up here, far northwestern Pennsylvania, maybe in that 8 to 12 range, but for the most part, the whole state of Pennsylvania should see 12 to 20 inches. The further east you go with Pennsylvania, the more you're going to see. So we're talking about Philadelphia, and other places like that over on the east side of Pennsylvania. But even central can get in on, it's showing 18, 19, 20 inches here in central PA. So definitely going to be a big snowmaker here in the heart of it. Same thing goes for New York. Most of New York, again, 12 to 20 inches, I'm thinking is still a good range here. These higher elevation amounts, 12, 24, 25, 30 inches are possible, especially if up here by the lakes and stuff like that, the lake effect, they could see a little bit more elevated of a snow event if some bands set up there as well. But a good 12 to 20 inches are pretty much what you're probably going to see here for them for New York. And then far upstate New York is probably going to be in the 8 to 12 mark range as well. But most of the state is going to be in that 12 to 20 range. Long Island, I'm saying again 12 to 20. I know I'm sound like a broken record. 12 to 20 is a good safe bet though right now. Same thing with Connecticut and Rhode Island. Again, 12 to 20, but I would say probably you're going to probably be in that 15 to 20 range if these models trends to keep up this way. And then if we look over here at Massachusetts, again, 12 to 20 is probably going to be a safe bet, but I think Massachusetts is going to be the real big snowmaker in winter here. So I'm saying probably 12 to 20 is safe, but I would not be surprised if Boston down to the Cape sees over 2 feet of snow. So we're talking 24 plus inches of snow along the coastline there of Massachusetts, a little bit inland. So definitely could be the big snowmaker here is Massachusetts for the win, especially the more east you are in the state. But does not mean that you're not going to get lots of snow in Massachusetts, though. Still 17, 18, 19 inches over there in Western Mass as well. So definitely possible to see well over a foot. New Hampshire and Vermont. From central to southern Vermont and New Hampshire, you're definitely going to be seeing 12 to 20 inches as well. And northern parts of the state is going to be more in the 8 to 12 mark for that part of the state. Southern Maine, again, I'm going to put southern Maine in the 12 to 20 range. Southern and western Maine, I would say, really, is going to be in that 12 to 20 range. And then anywhere in central Maine from Oxford County down to Down East Maine is going to be in the 8 to 12 range. And then from Aroostook County, around the I-95 corridor and north is going to be probably in that 8 to 12 range for you. But the further north you go, I would say upwards towards Holton and Presque Isle, probably going to be in that 5 to 10 inch range. And then the more north you go for northern Aroostook County in Maine. That's it, guys. 2.5 hours of talking. My voice is already getting sore, and we got a lot more to go. So again, thank you guys so much for tuning in this evening. We have a long way to go before this all plays out. We got another 24 hours to go still. Again, I'm going to be live Saturday afternoon through Saturday night, and also all day Saturday at the very heart of this event. Okay. So definitely make sure you're following. Make sure you're hitting the follow button above me on TikTok here. If you're on YouTube, make sure you're hitting the subscribe button below. Turn the bell on so that way you're notified when I go live. I'm not ignoring you guys over there on YouTube as well. But YouTube has a more landscape view if you want a nice, bigger view of everything, or if you want to put it on the TV. Definitely go subscribe over on YouTube and follow. I'm not, yeah, thank you for muting him. Thank you. Renee, thank you. Thank you for following. Matthew James, thank you for following. Carter, thank you for the follow. Indiana, southern parts of Indiana are going to be in that 12 plus range. Central to southern Indiana. And then, yeah, so central to southern Indiana, and then central to northern Indiana, probably be in that 6 to 12 range. Or, yeah, something like that. Houston should be okay. Maybe a little bit of icing, but mostly rain for Houston. Again, I just went over Massachusetts. I'm not sure if you just tuned in, Ashley, but Massachusetts should be the big snow winner here. Good 12 to 20 inches for Massachusetts, with along the coast to Boston to the Cape. Could see upwards to 2 feet of snow plus. Northern Indiana is not fried. They'll be fine. Maybe 6 to 12 inches, whereas southern Indiana will be more. All right, guys, let me check over here, WX Rundown, see if we have any new users over on WX Rundown. Again, WXRundown.com, if we can get that pinned in the chat really quick. WX Rundown is my weather app. It's my website. It's my app. I guess it's not an app. I guess it's just a website. This is what we're going to be using on Saturday and Sunday to track the storms. And you can post your locations on here, just like all these users have done so as well. Just sign into an account, and then you'll be able to share your location with us on the day of the event, and we'll be able to help walk you guys through this and talk about the locations and stuff like that. That's wxrundown.com, and that's going to be it for today, guys. I'm gonna go get some rest, hang out with the family for a little bit, and I'll be back here probably right around 4 or 5 Eastern on Saturday, all through the night on Saturday and into Sunday as well. We're going to be live again on Sunday all day. So again, make sure you're following here on YouTube and TikTok. Southern Oklahoma is going to be more on the sleet, freeze, and rain line. So Southern Oklahoma is probably going to be, hold on, I'll caught up here. Again, I'm a sucker. I can't see someone's message and not want to try to reply to it because I'm just trying to be a nice guy. But Southern Oklahoma is going to get on that icing and sleet line. So you should probably see a little bit less snow for Southern Oklahoma. So probably in that 4 to 6 range for Southern Oklahoma. Have a good evening, Andrew. See you later on. I will see you guys on Saturday, guys. Please stay weather aware. Make sure you have all your preparations in place now. this ice event. If you're anywhere in Arkansas, Mississippi, parts of Louisiana, Northeast Texas, into Tennessee, and over into the Carolinas and Virginia, now is your time to prepare. Please, if you can, trim any branches around your house. You don't want anything falling down on your house if you can avoid it. Don't trim any anything near power lines. Let the utility company do that. Um, but please prepare now. Make sure you have plenty of emergency supplies in case you do lose power for an extended period of time. And I will catch up with you guys on Saturday and Sunday. So please make sure you're following, and I will see you guys then. Okay. That's going to be it for today, guys. And I will see you guys next time.